All right. Good morning to everybody around the world. We got this live stream going on right now. We're going to start at okay. So here we go. 30 seconds.
With gorgeous invites starting at under $1 and designs that.
Okay. 20 seconds.
With gorgeous invites starting at under $1 and designs that.
Okay. 20 seconds.
Gorgeous invites starting at under $1 and designs that.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right. So, good morning, everybody around the world that is tapped in. Let us now delve into why Jimmy Kimmel got fired. And you know what? Jimmy Kimmel is not the only American across the United States that has gotten fired. Abby World says hi. Hey, hello, Abby Worlds. Let me know what part of the world you are from. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to the live stream, because we're going to get into some serious talks about censorship. Now, is this payback from the previous administration? If you remember, during that thing in the 2020s, right, in the early 2020s, okay, there was a thing called the jab. You guys know what I'm talking about, and I can't say it out loud because obviously there's mass censorship with it, but you know exactly what I mean, right? So during that time, there were a lot of Republicans that were getting fired left and right. Not just Republicans, but anybody who didn't believe in the jab, right? Now, there's a lot of people on the left side that are getting fired simply because they were making fun of Charlie Kirk's passing, and as a result, they decided, you know what? We're going to get rid of this person. This person is not worthy to be in my company, or this person is not worthy to be representing what it is that I represent. Aaron Stotzberg, shout out to you, Aaron Stotzberg. First time I've seen you here. He asks, why are Christian men so spiritually weak in the United States? And then Aaron says, get fired. So I'm assuming you are very happy about these people getting fired from what I understand. And if it's so, I'd like to know why. Because I had some pretty interesting discussions about this through everybody in the fight world. Jimmy says hi. Hey, Jimmy, how are you, my man? Good morning to all of you guys. Let me know what part of the world you are from, Jimmy. So, let's see here. Do you guys remember the Ultimate Fighter challenger named Tyler Diamond? Okay, he's a Team Alpha Male fighter, a guy that I'm very familiar with. Okay, we're going to get into Chris Wade says it's pretty obvious. What's pretty obvious? Please give me some context, because obviously I'm talking 100 miles an hour, or I may talk about different subjects in between. But yeah, let me know what you mean by what is pretty obvious. I'd like to know in context what you mean. Aaron Stotzberg says, if they think it's okay for Charlie to get killed, then I think it should be okay to lose their job. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, look, Aaron, now here's the thing, right? If I had a person that was working for me, right, and they said something that was distasteful as this, right? I don't know if I would be quick to judge them straight away, all right? Now, from the point of a CEO where they don't really think much of anything other than the bottom line of their company, okay? Their thought process is that, you know what, this person right now is not good for the company because everybody, oh my goodness, how about this jobless Jimmy Kimmel? Wow, man, you guys are on some King Von stuff right now, right? The first time I did a Charlie Kirk live stream, by the way, my highest one that I ever got out of this channel, 32,000, there was a guy that came in there with a named with a screen name that said Charlie Kirk's Ghost, right? Which was distasteful in and of itself. But then here comes the payback for that, which is jobless Jimmy Kimmel, which is insane. Jimmy says, not in front of their wife and kids. Okay, I see what you're saying. Toxic Gameplay, sorry, Matt Damon, we're all out of time. Huh? Shout out to you, Toxic Gameplays. Haven't seen you here in a while. Now, what do you mean by that statement? In what context, by the way? Let me know what you mean by that in the context. Okay, so back to what I was saying with Tyler Diamond, right? This is Tyler Diamond, for those of you guys who don't know, right? It's this guy right here. UFC fighter, former tough challenger. So he made some pretty interesting comments about Charlie Kirk that I would like to share with everybody, okay? So he says, okay, this is what he says. All right. He says, I'm a free speech absolutist. I believe I believe you should be able to say anything you want without legally getting in trouble with the law. Okay, what AG Pam Bondi said today was insane on any metric. What Jimmy Kimmel said yesterday, he was totally had the right to say, but the network he works for also has the right to can him. A good choice on their part, by the way. So he throws his opinion in that particular aspect as well. So say whatever you want, but deal with the consequences. Consequences culture over cancel culture. Ooh, that's interesting. So we got a consequences culture that is going on right now. So this is what I said to Tyler in response to that, right? I said to Tyler, you know what, Tyler, I agree with this post, and very fair. It's very fair to be honest. You want to know why? If I owned a corporation, and if an employee said something anti-Islamic, I'm not gonna put that screen for you guys, okay? So if I had an employee that said something anti-Islamic, okay, I honestly don't know if I would honor that person's free speech, and I'm just being, honest about it, right? In particular, in this hypothetical scenario. Now, I believe the impulsive side of me would probably sack or fire that person. Plus, a potential pressure from my own community would call for me to do that. Then the social pressure would be on. At the same time, part of the reason why I'm also a free speech absolutist, as I was saying to Tyler, is because if the subject was about anti-Islamic rhetoric, I'm prepared to defend Islam in the form of ideological debate. Now, this is what I respect about Charlie, even though I didn't agree with some of his rhetoric in the way that people like Tyler or yourself might agree with him. So in conclusion, I said that I don't know if firing people and further radicalize them in this current volatile America would be good for the long run. When people are unemployed and their backs are against the wall, what do you think they will do? It seems dangerous, and that's the thoughts that I wanted to get out of Tyler in that particular subject right here. So, lo and behold, I got some response. Let me read some comments here before I go into the response here. He says, sorry, Matt Damon. Okay, we read that. Jobless Jimmy Kimmel says recommendations on how to stop excessive diarrhea on a beautiful Thursday morning. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know how to deal with that, man. Weird question, but okay. Aaron Stosberg says, would you rather be killed for your beliefs or fired from your job for your beliefs? Man, Aaron, I tell you what, man, there's a part of people that believe firing them is dang near violence, right? There's people that believe that. Now, you and I may not believe that, but to the extent that you're depriving a person of their income, creating destitutional situations for people, I think that it is something worth looking at, right? But I understand what you're saying, though, right? I would rather be fired than, let's say, be unalived on any given day, right? Even though as a Muslim, I'm not necessarily afraid to leave this earth, right? And no real believer should, whether you're a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, or anything that believes in monotheistic faith, right? You should never be afraid of death. But yeah, that's the key component of that. I would absolutely rather be fired than, yeah, not live. So Toxic Gameplay says that was a bit on Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so this is important to understand. I'm gonna pin this comment right here by Toxic Gameplays, right? Uh, it was a bit on Jimmy Kimmel, where if the show went on long, he would say, "Sorry, Matt Damon, we're all out of time." Oh, okay. So that's the context. Jobless Kimmy says, "America has spoken. We the people are fighting back." Wow. Okay. Terry Williams says, "So making false accusations of false statistics is okay also?" No, that's absolutely not okay. Yeah, false accusations and false statistics are something I'm totally against, right? And I'm going to elaborate more on this. Well, actually, I'll elaborate on it right now, right? Look, by the definition of a racist, is Charlie Kirk a racist? Let's put it out there right now. And my answer is no. Not in the way that David Duke, by the way, a congressman who's an open KKK leader, on top of being a congressman, obviously, something like that is a little bit more extreme, right? So, yeah. Midnight Swami says, Jesus loves you. Take up your cross and follow him. We are all sinners. Through him, we are... Okay, so shout out to you on that comment. Ozzy Crosby says, give me some context what you mean by that. Ryan says, it's not Democrat versus Republican. It's U.S. versus the chomos in office. Wow. Okay, so... Splody, Jesus says, Trump, F kids, everyone is mad at each other. This country is cooked as F. Ozzy Crosby says, Charlie Kirk was unalive for his speech. You're not the good guys. Okay. Ryan says, it's not the Democrat versus Republican. It's okay. I read that part. Ozzy says, Spidey, you are a registered S. Wow. Okay, so we got people throwing... jabs at each other here in the chats. Terry Williams says, how can you love a God you've never seen or hate, and you hate people you see every day? Terry Williams says, well, Terry, that is your perspective from an atheistic perspective. That's just really what it comes down to. You're an atheist. It's what you believe. So... Bruce is loose. That's a pretty cool screen name. Bruce is loose. Shout out to you, man. Everybody in the chat, let me know what part of the world you guys are from. Okay. Bruce is loose says facts. He says how, man. Bruce is loose says the Bible says the exact same thing. Okay, let's go back to what Tyler Diamond had responded to me. Right. So Tyler says, I own my company. And there's a certain line you don't cross. My employees are representing the company, and if they are doing so or saying anything that would disparage the company, I would fire them and allow them to look for a new employer that was okay with their actions. Okay, so he got about, as of this moment, 15 likes out of that comment. So, okay, so now here's some of the response, right? His buddy said, Kenneth says, on either side of the political lines, I would fire somebody to the same situation. However, Jimmy Kimmel said nothing worth getting his First Amendment rights taken away or losing his show. He's a comedian. Okay, so this is the important part. He's a comedian. He could tit for tat all day, all about horrible things that comedians on both sides said about people, including Jimmy Kimmel, but he did not say anything wrong. And that is according to this person that is responding to Kenneth. T-Pain says, do you like trains? No, I don't. The autism is very strong in this one. Explain what you mean by that. Upton is into WBE. You know what? Not so much, right? I used to be into WBE a long time ago, right? But now it's just, used for a display, really. Not, this is not a WWE channel. I'm more of a MMA, UFC boxing channel. So, yeah, just wanted to kind of, put that in perspective right there. So, sorry, just trying to swat a fly away. Okay, so Bruce says, John 4:20 King James Version says, God hath in his brother, he is a liar, for he loved his brother whom he had not seen. How can God love whom he had not seen? Okay, very interesting. Whoa, snap. Okay. Oh, man. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, so I think you have potential for the MMA. Shout out to you on that one right there. Ooh, man. Okay, let me sorry, just spilled a little. Can't even drink water. No, it's coffee full. Okay, there you go again, talking about can't even drink water. You don't even know what happened or what made me spill my coffee or this and that. But anyways, yeah. So, on any regard, what do you mean by that? You have potential for MMA. Do you mean the channel, or do you mean actually fighting MMA? Because I have fought MMA before. So, yeah. Okay, so going back to these comments, right? Todd Williams says on the comment, he said that he lied and said that the shooter was MAGA, ratcheting up rhetoric. Nexstar and Sinclair had every right to pull Kimmel. The FCC had no pull in this. Okay, so that's what it is, right? Understand that when it comes to TV, they are ran by the FCC, right? You should, T-Pain says you should go fight people. I have, actually. Bruce Lou says, oh, you asked where I'm from, Tennessee. How about you? I'm from Sacramento, California, my man. Who cares? That's a very inappropriate question, but I'm not going to take it down. I'm just not going to answer it because it's a stupid and immature question, and we don't have time for stupidity and immaturity up in here. But anyways, so Tyler Diamond, okay, this is what he says. Very interesting about the actual shooter, right? He says, there's no proof that he was MAGA. That's like saying there's zero proof you have a burner account named Jacob Williams. Okay, so Kenneth says to Tyler, he says, get over yourself. It's not me. I don't care what you say. You have zero proof, and if you did, you'd be screaming at it at the top of your lungs. Your fake friend Alvin Wembley is very good at what he does. Tyler says, I have better things to do than to scream at the top of my lungs, but I will bring it up to make it easy. Kenneth says, just admit you have zero proof over somebody lied to you. Somebody over Wembley cult lied to you. Nobody cares and nobody believes you about that. And the ones that do got fooled just like you did. Okay, so Troll says, defender vacate, dude. Okay, what Jimmy Kimmel did was in poor taste, according to Bruce. How many times have you defended your WWE title? Too many times, brother. You know what I mean? Too many times, backyard wrestling style. But, okay, so, all right, this is what I have to say about this, right? I find this very dangerous. I'm going to be honest with you. I find this extremely dangerous, and I'm going to tell you why. Look, we are radicalizing people, and I don't think a lot of you understand that. Hate Love says, hello, how are you, my man? Bruce Lou says, this dude was a Republican because his parents were. My parents loved country music. I'm a metal fan and hate country. Okay, that's an interesting point right there, Bruce. I'm going to mark that comment right there. So he's saying that his parents love country music, but he loves metal. In other words, what he's trying to say is, just because your parents are one thing doesn't mean that you are. You understand what I'm saying? So Reg says, in poor taste, it was blatant lies. T-Pain says, that as actually from MAGA you can be. That is actually as MAGA as you can be, according to him. Look, aren't you guys a little bit scared that we're radicalizing people, right? Like, you're taking away their livelihood. So when you do, guess what's going to happen when that livelihood gets taken away? You radicalize people into a position that you may never return from. Okay? So T-Pain says, your parents are not autistic and you are. Okay, so you're sort of kind of qualifying or comparing those notions, right? Who cares, says Malcolm X or Muhammad Ali. Who would win in... I mean, that's quite distasteful in and of itself right there to ask that, but okay. See, look, I don't like what Who Cares had to say, right? He's talking about Muhammad Ali or Malcolm X, by the way, two people that are very prominent in the Muslim community, and he's asking who would win in a twerk off between them. You don't see me out here saying, oh, we got to go find the IP address of who cares and then go cancel him or this, that, and the other, right? But, you know, that's just me. Bruce Liu says, I'm talking about him saying he deserved it. That was poor taste. Okay, if they will kill Charlie for speaking his mind, what makes us safe? That's a very good point. That's a very good point. T-Pain says he's making a joke and people would cancel him given a chance. Yes. Charlie Kirk got everything he wanted. Bomb, let me know what you mean by that. Charlie Kirk got everything he wanted. What exactly did he want out of this situation that you are speaking of? Reg says that's an innocuous statement, not celebrating expressed unjust unaliving. Okay, only my truest, only two, that's a shame. I don't understand what you mean by that. Who cares says Charlie wasn't unalived for speaking his mind. So you're saying Charlie wasn't unalived for speaking his mind. Charlie was unalived for not sticking with Israel even more so. Wow. You know what? What's really interesting is Candace Owens was sort of sending a subliminal shot, which I believe was towards Ben Shapiro. I think Ben Shapiro wants to infiltrate he wants to infiltrate Turning Point, the Turning Point organization. And the reason for why he wants to infiltrate this organization is simply because of the fact that he wants to implement certain policies. He wants to create certain influence for Israel even more, which, by the way, here's something that I find very strange about Ben Shapiro, right? A guy who claims to be a conservative, claims to be a patriot for America, but patriotism for America, is it really patriotism for America, or is it more so that he has patriotism for another country of some sort, right? Tempest says, what are you even saying, bro? Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone in the chat? Reg says, why would Israel use someone so pathetic for their operations? It's so silly in my opinion. So when you mean, why would Israel use somebody as pathetic as Tyler Robinson, is that what you are referring to? Well, here's the thing, right? There is no proof at the current moment of time that Israel had something to do with the death of Charlie Kirk, even though it may serve their interests to a certain degree, maybe not. But here's the thing about Charlie Kirk, right? JC says he's Israel pilled. Who are you talking about? Me? I'm Israel pilled, or are you talking about someone else? Hate Love says Israel are pathetic. Wake up, in my opinion. Okay, so shout out to you, Hate Love. I see that you have joined my membership. Shout out to you on that one, my man. Who cares says because Israel is losing. So what I will say is that Israel right now is facing a serious PR problem, right? In the 1990s and the 2000s, it was very easy for Israel to go on a campaign of propaganda and lies and making themselves look good to the world. Well, now, because of the world of the internet, because of TikTok, by the way, owned by China, not necessarily owned by America or a certain part of America. Dun 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 dun. We own Facebook, we own Twitter, we own Instagram, we own all the social media. Hey, bar mitzvah. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? They all own the social media companies except for TikTok, and that is China, right? China, it owns TikTok, so they have what you call a natural algorithm, right? They don't push any certain propaganda or anything like that. What they do is what people like or what people are interested in, they just go with it. They don't try to force the algorithm of any kind. So as a result of that, what you got was a lot of pushback towards Israel in the modern times, and in particular, the times of social media. He says, okay, no, Ben Shapiro. Gotcha. Okay, so he's talking about Ben Shapiro. People are stating to their open their third eye to Israel. Only my trust. Shout out to you. Let me know what part of the world you're from. I think this is the first time I've seen you here. He says, what about the 2 black guys that were found hanging in... Oh, wow. Okay. In Mississippi past Monday. Why isn't there any focus on them? Why is everything about Charlie Kirk? That's a very good point. I'm going to mark that comment, only trust, okay? Now, if you would like to elaborate more on that, please do so. I would like to hear more from you on that, okay? Hate Love says, that's the whole point. Keep us busy with Charlie to distract us from real things. That's a very good point right there. Charlie Kirk's creep eyes. Oh my goodness, man. We got some real insensitive people here with some real insensitive, screen names right here. Cosmic Turtle says one was white. Oh, okay, so one of the guys was white that was unalived in that situation in Mississippi. Okay. Excuse me. So, okay. Yeah, yesterday there was a bomb scare at Turning Point, right? Bruce Leroy says, what about that girl from Ukraine that was unalived on a train? Yeah, that was a huge focus as well, right? Look, this is how the news cycle went. A couple of weeks ago, it was Roger Jackson, okay? After Roger Jackson, then it became Charlie Kirk. No, sorry, not Charlie Kirk. It became the Ukrainian girl on the train, right? Even Charlie Kirk did a piece on that. That was probably his last piece before he got unalived. And then after that, Charlie Kirk happened, and now that was just everything that was on the news now for a week. And then when his killer got captured, then the focus was still on Charlie Kirk, but more on how did his killer do it, what was his motivation, and who was he with. And apparently, out of this whole entire news cycle, there emerged a group named Trans with Guns, or Armed Trans, or something to that extent, right? Basically, a trans militia that which, by the way, I would have never thought I would see in my life, right? I never thought I would see in my life. See, Kyrie knows why are they trying to keep us distracted. You see, I don't know if it's blatant that they're trying to keep us distracted, or it's just a natural state of the news that is going on right now. Like, I don't know if I would necessarily just blame that on, distraction of some sort, right? I don't know if that is the rightful, reasoning, behind all of these things. But they are happening naturally, and I want you guys to understand that, right? Not everything has to be a conspiracy theory also. Colian says, you're distracted. That's a you problem. You're distracted. That's a you problem. So you, when you say your, I just need you to write Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. So that is you are, okay? When your is when that's yours. But just a little English lesson there. But okay, you're right about that. I'm going to mark that comment regardless if it's bad grammar. You're distracted. That's a you problem. I'm going to mark that comment right there. Colion. That's true. No, dude, I know. Yeah, I got you, man. Bruce Leroy says, I suck, brother. You got common sense. Thank you, Bruce Luce. Thank you for that, man. I hope that you stay, and I hope that you do like and subscribe. I hope that you tell your other friends to like and subscribe and to watch as well. And I hope that you're also an MMA fan, because I just want to warn you ahead of time, most of my content deals with MMA, but guess what? I don't shy away from politics, and this is a reason why. Hey, let's be honest about this, right? Right now, this is the hottest thing on the news, and this is what is on demand, and as a result, I'm going to continue to push it until I can. So, and give you guys the news and give you guys some common sense, because I do have takes on these particular topics as well. And one of the takes that I have with this is that many people are sort of leaning towards conspiracies all the time. Bruce Luce says, I like this stream also. Thank you, my man. Shout out to you. Bruce Luce, let me know what part of the world you are from, my man, and also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also for more controversial takes that I have around the world, come to my members only section, because I will be putting out some uncensored content to the likes of which you will never see. Lovebug says, are you going to debut in BKFC or Street Beefs? Neither. So one thing that I will say about this, who cares says, top MMA news of the year, John Jones ducked Tom Aspinall. There you go. That's what it is, right? But weirdly enough, John Jones might come back to fight at the White House. Now, is he going to fight Tom Aspinall? We don't know, but we shall see. He really wants to fight at the White House, but we don't know if that's going to be Tom. Craig says, when everything is a conspiracy, nothing is. So, look, I'm going to play a clip from this CIA agent, right? Andrew Bustamante. Do you guys know who Andrew Bustamante is, right? He said he's a CIA agent who's also a podcaster now. I want you guys to hear what he says about conspiracy theories, okay? Because this is very important for a lot of you that want to believe there is some kind of nefarious, and by the way, I'm not doubting that there's nefarious actions from government agents behind the scenes to try and prop this thing up. I'm not denying that at all. However, what I really want to emphasize is the reality of what is truly going on. Okay? Bruce Liu says, I don't said I'm in Tennessee. Okay. You're in Tennessee. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. Listen to Andrew Bustamante on this one.
9/11 really happened. JFK assassination. JFK was assassinated. Conspiracies are important to understand because they're predictable. There's what we call an anatomy to the conspiracy. Think of 9/11 and the 9/11 conspiracies. Like, these are real things that actually happened. That's the start of a conspiracy. And then immediately after the true event, there is a lack of information. The problem is that when it comes to conspiracies, you can't just take the thorn out. You don't know what actually happened in certain details. We don't know who actually shot JFK. We don't know what made the different towers fall on 9/11. There's some secrets that we're not allowed to know. 9/11 really happened. JFK assassination. JFK was assassinated.
Okay, so that didn't really explain much on what he thinks about conspiracy theories, but okay, this one I think has a better understanding right here. Okay, this one from the Fresh and Fit podcast appearance that he made right here.
In any conspiracy, the first thing that has to happen is something factual.
Yeah.
There has to be a factual something that takes place.
Yep.
The Twin Towers.
In this case, Alliance Towers.
And the towers fell.
Yep.
Fact. Well, then, immediately after the fact, there has to be a gap in information.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once there's a gap in information, the next step is skepticism has to arise. Now, hear me out on this. Skepticism is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Suspicion is unhealthy.
I like that. One more time for the people.
I need you guys to listen to this part right here, okay?
Skepticism is healthy. Suspicion is unhealthy. Right? So skepticism means prove it, show me more facts. Skepticism follows a lack of information, which followed a factual event. At this point in time, trained people, intelligence operatives, law enforcement, academics, they will say, I need more information before I make a conclusion.
Yeah.
Untrained people let their skepticism turn into suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what the brain wants? The brain wants to close the loop.
Yeah.
That's what
So a lot of you that are believing that this might be a conspiracy theory, a lot of you want your brain wants to close the loop. Okay? I need you guys to understand that.
human brain wants. We don't like open loops. We don't like unanswered questions. We don't like open storylines.
We don't like open storylines. We don't like unanswered questions. So think about this, right? To all of you that believe that everything is a conspiracy theory, you don't like any of these things. So what do you do in the process to try and fill this void? And Andrew Bustamante says,
It's why we watch alien shows and Bigfoot shows.
Yeah.
Because at the end of every episode, you didn't find out squat, but the next episode, you'll find out something new. So we all tune back in the next week, right?
Yeah.
So after you have factual events, open in gaps in information, skepticism turns into suspicion, then people start closing the loop for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They start making up a story that explains the gap of information.
they start making up stories that explain the gaps. Okay, so I need you guys to understand that before you jump into any possible conclusions. Let me read some of these comments right here. They're coming in hot right now. He says, why he sound like a woman? Are you talking about Bustamante? Bustamante would probably choke you out, my man. JC says, Andrew Bustamante is an operative that's been debunked. He doesn't know the actual inner workings of the U.S. military like he claims. Well, here's the thing, right? He's not an active agent, which means that he doesn't know what is going on right now. What he knows is what he did during his time of service, and that's all that he can really reference off of, right? Obviously, he may have limited amounts of secrets. He may have limited amounts of information that his buddies in the CIA give him, but not to the level of a current and working operative that is currently active in the current moment of time right now. So I do believe he knows some things, but he doesn't know all things, and this is the reason why. Who cares says, nah, JJ isn't coming back. Dana doesn't trust him to come through, and JJ already proved he isn't trustworthy. John Jones is the Pete Rose of MMA. Truly a terrible, untrustworthy human being. Nay Bruvef said hi. Nay, shout out to you, Nay. Let me know what part of the world you're from. Who cares says, same deals with Conor McGregor. He isn't coming back, nor should he. More people want to see Conor McGregor loose because he's a human being that he has become. Cosmic Turtle says, JC, I'm doing. JC says, I'm doing. He thinks is claiming to know extensively just the parts he's experienced in. Cosmic Turtle says, who cares? A normal comment. Prince Vandro says, this is the same guy, by the way, that says that he would happen if Israel did 9/11, and he said that very bad things will happen to me. Wow. Okay. Cosmic Turtle says, not doing. Okay. Charlie Kirk's Creep Eye says, you look like a Mongolian warlord from the 13th century. Shout outs to you on that one. I like that comment right there. He says that I look like a Mongolian warlord of the 13th century. I like that. I like that. I like that very much, man. You know what? I am a warlord. I have the genetics of a warlord. So, yeah, that's that you're not too far off from there. Charlie Kirk's creepy eye says, hi. Hate Love says, and the trillions of dollars that went missing one day before 9/11, all the concentration camps openly targeting Islam, the Gaddafi assassination, etc. Yeah, man, there seems to be a lot of people that love Gaddafi, but for the people, you know, I know people that have actually fought against Gaddafi, right? People's families in Libya who have fought against Gaddafi. And what they say is that as great of a leader Gaddafi was, people also question, with all the wealth and money that Libya has, why is it that Libya does not look like the UAE or Saudi Arabia or the Emirates or Kuwait or Qatar? Why do they not look as advanced as they are, right? By the way, guys, everybody around the world, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button right now. We need more people hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button right now. We just got into 1,000 views in less than an hour right now, right? 1,000 views in less than an hour, and we got 44 people in here from around the world. So show your boys some love. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this thing cracking. All right, more on conspiracies from Andrew Bustamante.
Is keeping that information from me. Somebody's hiding the information from me. Somebody knows, and they did it on purpose. They make up a story that closes the loop for themselves. Then other people find out someone else's story, it closes the loop for them. All the loop closing makes people feel really good, and then conspiracy theory explodes.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. What a lot of you are doing when creating the conspiracy theories is that you're closing the loop to make yourselves feel good, right? So let's try and understand that. Now, look, I'm not doubting your theories on these things. I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I'm not telling you that I'm more correct than you are. The thing is, we don't know. We both don't know, and I think that is a healthy skepticism that we must continue to have until we actually reach the true conclusion of things. Prince Vandro says, I know an ex-Mujahideen fighter that fought against the Russians, and I can tell you, they don't have PTSD. He seems more excited to tell me. Yeah, man, they are a different breed of people, right? It's different when you are fighting for a national corporation and a military industrial complex as opposed to fighting for a law. It's completely different, right? A completely different psychology in that. So, Hair Grease says kimchi, fried rice. Okay, I don't understand what is the context behind that. It sounds like you're hungry, my man. So, all right, Jimmy Kimmel. Back to Jimmy Kimmel. Let's hear what he had to say about this. Right? What is the Charlie Kirk monologue that he did here to sort of what got him suspended, pulled off air indefinitely over a joke? Okay, let's hear NBC LA what this had to say right here.
Instincts upgraded.
Okay, so reparations. Ahmed Belton says reparations, Black Power. Shout out to you, my man. The Swerver says F Jimmy Kimmel. Okay.
Share of the late night show Jimmy Kimmel Live is in jeopardy. Good evening once again, everyone. I'm Colleen Williams.
And I'm Michael Brownlee. ABC is preempting the show indefinitely because of comments he made following, I should say, the assassination of Charlie.
They said, remember the invisible passport they found a couple of feet away from ground zero? Now, look, here's the thing with that, right? It is still plausible that, hey, you know what? Oh, yeah, he erased that comment, but I mentioned it anyway. I read it out loud, so we can't go back from that. But, yeah, man, it's possible that the passport just fell out of the plane. It's very much possible that could happen. He says, a funny thing about reparations, black people owned slaves to idiots. Yeah, well, there you go, right? That's an undeniable fact they have. They have, right? In fact, unfortunately, slavery is still going on in Africa right now as we speak, so...
Charlie Kirk.
NBC4's Conan Nolan joins us live from the newsroom. Conan, that announcement is sending shockwaves through Hollywood tonight.
It is, Colleen, and it deserves a little bit of a backstory.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that YouTube that removed your comment? Okay, I thought that was you that removed that comment. Yeah, that's very strange, man. That's very strange. Okay, yeah, because I thought that was you that did it, or maybe one of my moderators, but obviously not. So, okay, sorry about that, man. Yeah, obviously nothing that I could control.
Prior to the news conference on Tuesday that delineated the evidence against the assassin, the alleged assassin of Charlie Kirk, there was a narrative over the weekend that perhaps this man, Tyler Robinson, was actually a supporter of...
Okay, so El-Kheer says, I want reparations for my ancestors who died fighting for the slaves. Ah, okay. That's an interesting one. That's an interesting comment. I'll pin that comment right there. JC says, so soft. Gus says, reparations for 500K of Union soldiers that died that helped the slaves. Savachi Financial says, yee. Shout out to Savachi Financial right here.
President Donald Trump. In fact, there were those who believed he was part of the ultra-right wing who considered Charlie Kirk...
So how about this, right? A lot of people are saying that the shooter was right-wing, and for whatever reason, a lot of the MAGA dudes are very much upset at hearing this, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Why are they upset at this? Is it because it's not factual that he's a right-wing guy? Look, I'm going to be honest and objective about this, right? The reason why a lot of the liberals want to believe that this guy is a MAGA guy is because it creates... he was MAGA, top of the morning. He was MAGA, Savachi Financial says. I don't think that he was, man. I don't think that he was, or is. I think that he was a kid that grew up with Republican parents and had decided to rebel against them, and yeah. Pig Daddy says, because it's a lie. It's that simple. Yeah, man. The other aspect of this is, who cares what his political opinion is, though, right? Think about this, right? He was an alleged killer. Okay, he's caught. He's going to go to trial. Yes, they want to know motivations. We have the motivation. He said that he felt that Charlie Kirk was spewing hatred, and that was his motivation behind it. What more do we need? Morgan Todd says he isn't affiliated. There you go. I like that answer better. Shout out to Morgan Todd. Let me know what part of the world you are from, Morgan Todd, because I'm going to mark that comment right there. He isn't affiliated, right? I think that's a better put. He's not affiliated. Not every crime has to have a political angle behind it. That's all that I have to say about that, right? Not every crime has to be political. Like, he committed a crime, he felt like this guy was being disrespectful towards X, Y, and Z. This guy is spreading hate. That is my motivation. I'm going to go with it. Mississippi, shout out to you, my man. Ghost Rider USMC, he says, these talk shows are just that. They are for entertainment. It isn't for you to openly express your personal feelings. He tried to be funny and failed. The shooter was far left. Slavery was a mistake. Okay. Savachi Financial says everything is political. It is. So I'm going to mark that comment right there by Savachi Financial. Apolitical is a political position. Oh, man. Okay, those are two good comments right there. I'm going to pick everything is political. I'm going to pin that comment right there. Shout out to Savachi Financial. Yes, everything is absolutely political, right? Somebody jaywalks. Oh, he jaywalks because he's a liberal cuck. Oh, somebody commits, I don't know, passing the red light. Oh, he's a libtard, or he's a MAGA freak, or this and that, right? They just got to throw ideology into everything, and it's usually MAGA versus Antifa and this, that, and the other, right? It can't just be jaywalking thug. Adam Chirko says jaywalking thug. Savachi Financial says, White America! I could be one of your kids. White America! Little Eric looks just like this.
To be too liberal, that he was too accommodating to political moderates and leftists. That turned out not to be the case. But in between that wording on the internet and what happened on Tuesday with the announcement of the evidence, it appears that Jimmy Kimmel bought into what was being said online, and that led to the monologue that is in dispute on Monday night. The controversy stemmed from this joke during Monday night's monologue on the Jimmy Kimmel live show.
All right, so here we go. This is the joke that got him fired right here.
Taped on Hollywood Boulevard. It regarded not slain political activist Charlie Kirk, but Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old man accused in Kirk's murder.
JB says RIP to the homie Charlie Kirk.
Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. You can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half?
Savachi Financial says Macron's wife, for those of you that don't know Macron, he is the Prime Minister of France right now, is given a gender test to Candace. Oh, man. Yeah. Chucky Kirk. James McCabe says, as much as we are all Charlie, they are all Tyler Robinson. Everyone who called him a Nazi, Hitler, etc. Wow.
Sir, I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction.
The day following the monologue, prosecutors in Utah.
Okay, listen. You guys just saw that, right? I don't understand. Look, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not with none of that, right? I don't watch any of these late night shows, or as a matter of fact, I don't watch normie television, period, unless there's a really good show or if there's a UFC fight on it. That's just what it is. I don't watch any of these things. But what he said out of that, and maybe he said a little more, or maybe he said a little bit less, I don't know, but it's not really that bad. It's not really that bad. Savachi Financial says he's white people's Nipsey, white people's Pac. Facts. Berserk Donkey says, NGL. I can see people thinking, what about political affiliation someone's running a red light is. I just hate that they are an asshole. I just call it an a-hole. Never thought about political affiliations. Well, there you go. That's what it is. Every time somebody, Kirk, Pac, every time somebody does something, oh, well, you must be a liberal, B-I-T-C-H. Look, here's the thing, right? All of us that are for pro-Palestine, okay, over pro-Israel, those that are pro-Palestine, they call them liberals, right? It's an easy thing. But here's the thing, right? A lot of Muslims are not liberals. So therefore, to say that, like, okay, if somebody is pro-Palestine and they're liberal, I think that is absolutely missing the point of a lot of things. JB says he's more like MLK to me. Okay. He who hates says, but what about freedom of speech? So here's the thing, right? Freedom of speech doesn't exist in America. It honestly doesn't. And if you think that it does, well, you got another thing coming. What they mean by freedom of speech is they're not going to lock you up for it. That's all that it means. Corruption Hurt says LBGT for Palestine is funny. Yes, yes. As somebody who cares about the Palestinian people, I honestly do think that it is hilarious that that community is somewhat, you know, supportive of the Palestinians. But then again, here's the thing, right? Israel has done so much crimes that it is hard for people to basically deny Palestinians, right? Like it's like it's hard to deny. Fresh Melon Juice says Kimmel did blackface and many other damaging things early in his career. Kimmel is a paid prostitute who has sold his soul to the devil. JC says freedom of speech, not of consequences. So there you go. That's the prevailing argument right now, right? Consequences culture versus cancel culture. That's what we got going on right now, right? Let me repeat it again. Cancel culture versus culture of consequences. Morgan Todd says they were both in the wrong and all civilians on both sides are paying for it. It's a cycle. Hate Love says, I'm not USA. I don't know what Dems, Republicans, what you just said. I don't understand USA politics. Okay, so I understand that Hate Love is from the UK. By the way, shout out to you, a member of my members only stream. Shout out to you, my man, newly member, by the way. Welcome to the team, by the way. Wasab says hello. Waz Bell says, I mean PLO party, not pro. Explain what that means. Are you? What I think you're trying to say something about the PLO. Ahmed Belton says, it doesn't surprise me anymore that people show no compassion about slavery of the African reparations. Do just like the Jews and the Japanese other reparations. We deserve it. You know what? I agree with you. I do agree with you. Now, the thing is, though, who is considered for reparations, right? I think that's what would make this... Now, like, I'm not opposed to it, but the question is, how would you go about it, right? How would you go about that is the question. Morgan Todd says, what reparations did Jews and the Japanese get? That's a very good question. Yeah. What did, I mean, the Jews had some kind of reparation in some kind of way. But the Japanese, I don't know. What about the Irish, D-Foil says. So that's what I mean. When you look back in history, there are people who have been enslaved in some kind of way. Media is the one that's lying to us about the entire thing. JC says, American Irish reparations from England. Have they ever given that by any chance? Has England ever given the Irish that? Savachi Financial says, what about the Congo? Okay. What about India? Yeah, that's a very good question, right? What about them, right? Have they gotten reparations? Berserker Donkey says, by that reparations logic, then will Puerto Rico get back the gold that the Spaniards took from them? You know what? Puerto Ricans are actually considered American citizens, right? I had a Puerto Rican homie in New Jersey whose mother was very concerned that if you were to vote for Trump, that somehow, you know, her and her people would get, you know, packed out of New Jersey or the East Coast, right? And so, you know, I had to explain to my homie that you got to explain to your mom that, well, You know, Puerto Ricans are American citizens, right? They can't treat you the same way that they do to Mexicans or Venezuelans or other people that are, you know, not of that group. So JC says living in the past keeps you from the gift. Okay. Morgan Todd says Native Americans were supposed to get reparations, but their lives aren't any better afterwards. They still got targeted and treated badly. So there you go, right? There's a lot of Native Americans that are alcoholics. There's a lot of Native Americans that are drug addicts. There's a lot of Native Americans that have many social issues even while receiving reparations. So you could be right about that, man. You could be right about that. Wasab says they want us to fight each other for a distraction from what they want to hide. That could be true. That could not be true. Who knows?
Utah County, Utah indicated that the killer was not a supporter of President Donald Trump.
JC says opportunity is always in the present. Okay, so that's what you mean by having a gift emoji there as a present. Okay, gotcha. D-Foil says the whole world is on fire. War used to be financial, now it's political and financial. So I would add to that, JC, I would add to that, D-Foil, is that not only is it political and financial, it's also in the media and propaganda front as well, bigger than ever, because now we got the internet and a whole wide range of people that are armed with cameras and smartphones and, you know, and internet connections and things of that nature. Carl Hernandez says, I care about my family and money more than getting into drama. Okay. Ahmed Belton says, living in the past, tell that to the IRS when you owe them taxes from 50 years ago. Dang. Okay.
Trump, but rather of the political left, and viewed Charlie Kirk as an enemy of the trans and gay movements. Today, the Nexstar Media Corporation, which is in need of FCC approval for a $6.2 billion merger with the media company Tegna, issued a statement saying it strongly objected to Kimmel's comment.
He says there is nearly 9 billion people in the world to collaborate with. Okay.
And was going to replace the show with other programming in its ABC-affiliated markets. ABC Television announced it is suspending airing of the program indefinitely. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr on conservative commentator Benny Johnson.
JC says, I have a Republican friend who is supposedly 1 and 2 and 56 native and got $2,000 from his father who is white and his mother who is Japanese. It's a joke. So, okay, I'm going to mark that comment right there, JC. Did he take a genetics test that proves he is, you know, he is Native American? Because when you look at Native Americans, their DNA is very similar to that of Asians. So being that his mother is Japanese, maybe they had taken a DNA test that showed that Japanese Asian side of him, and they decided, you know what? We'll give it to him anyway because he fits the bill, right? Sovic says, well, blame the system, not the player. True. Says, I want to say hi to JC. Okay, JC and JC. How about that? We got 2 JCs in here, but 2 different spelling. Juice Man from Long Beach. Homie from Long Beach. Shout out to you, my man. Juice Man 562. What's good, playa? Hope as well. Shout out to everybody in you know, in Criptown City, Long Beach. Shout out to everybody in C-Town, Long Beach. What's up? That's what I'm talking about, man. Long Beach in the house.
Johnson's podcast threatened to take action against ABC for Kimmel suggesting that Kirk's killer was a Trump supporter.
And what appears to be an action appears to...
So here's what's weird, right? Why does it matter if he's a Trump supporter or not? And also, why is it that people are so angry that they are saying that he's a Trump supporter? I don't think that it matters. Look, he supposedly unalived somebody. He went, excuse me, he went to have a trial. He had his trial, or at least the preliminary stages of his trial, and he's in prison. D-Foil with a $4, man, with a $5. Shout out to you for appearing outwardly fair and balanced, a step up from mainstream media. Shout out to you, my man. Yes, thank you for the super chats on that one, my man. Thank you. Everybody else, if y'all want to drop a super chats, please feel free to do so, because Like what D-Foil says, I try to be very objective towards this. I have my own opinions as well. I share them with you, but I also share with you a very balanced point of view on these particular topics in which many people are not doing right now. And yes, are you in a hotel? No, I am in my office in my house. Overcome Netting says it matters because saying he was Trump supporter negates the fact that he was radicalized by the left. Okay, so he's saying that it matters because he was a Trump supporter. That negates the fact that he was radicalized by the left. Okay, so I'm going to mark that comment right there, okay? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think ideology matters. Look, let me shift gears on this for a little bit, but not too much, okay? And give you a prime example in the streets, right? So in recent times in the streets right now, or at least in the world of hip-hop, in the world of, you know, gang banging online, right? You guys know Adam 22, right? The host of the No Jumper podcast. He went and dissed this New York blood who claimed that he wanted to drop his flag, right? Drop his flag from the blood gang and this, that, and the other. And so Adam 22 made fun of him for doing so. And the reason why he made fun of him was a couple of reasons. Number one, we have a culture in California where dropping your flag or dropping the gang that you are from is completely blasphemy, right? At least within the standards of gang life. It is absolute blasphemy. However, in the East Coast, it's not looked down as it is in the West Coast. But that is the reason why many in the West Coast feel they're not real Bloods or Crips out there in the East Coast. And let me preface this by saying that in the East Coast, it doesn't matter if they are real Bloods or Crips. If they wanted to come at you with guns, with knives, or this, that, and the other, their ideology or what affiliation they come from almost doesn't matter. Okay? It almost doesn't matter because they are as equally dangerous, if not more dangerous than the other. And that's just what I mean by it doesn't matter if this guy was MAGA, it doesn't matter if he was left-wing, doesn't matter if he was Democrat or Republican. He was obviously out to get at somebody and get at somebody in a very violent way and supposedly had, you know, succeeded. Let me read some of these comments right up here. The president lies to us all the time. Wasab says, Fresh Melon Juice says it matters. C says he said he was one of their own Trump supporters. JC says, losing Charlie is our opportunity to be authentic in a dishonest world. Ahmed Bolton says the truth is I'm a socialist. I believe as long as you work, unless you have a disability, but you still be provided for food, clothing, shelter, free education, and Medicare. Okay, so shout out to you. We have an open socialist in here. Let's mark that comment right there because that's a very important comment right there. So Republicanism, shout out to you. Second time around coming here. We all bleed the same red blood. That's what has been told, but now after seeing the left's reaction, I don't think so. They say they are for love, but then do this. Sean Strickland made fun of him too. That's what I'm saying, but Sean Strickland doesn't have a late night talk show, right? So it's a little bit different. Canala says, I'd love to hear how Trump supporters actually justify him framing this way. He was obviously wants violence and hatred. Fresh Melon Juice, it matters. Stop the gang BS, California. It's the worst of the worst in America. It's the opposite of what we want America to be. MR says, if the ideology did not matter, then why did Charlie get over what he believes in? Because there are other Republicans that want to get at Charlie too. Remember, there's Republicans that hate Israel, and even though Charlie was somewhat critical of Israel, he was also pro-Israel at the same time, right? You can't, yeah, you know what I mean? He was pro-Israel, but then he was against Israel at the same time. Ahmed says, I live in Harlem. Not all blacks are gang members, especially over here in New York. True. But I will say in the West Coast, it's a very prominent thing, although there are Bloods in Harlem, obviously, with Dipset, you know, Cameron and, You know, Cameron and Joel Santana and all those guys, they're all Bloods. And by the way, shout out to Cameron standing on business with Adrian Broner telling him to get out. Oh, man, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. I got to do a video on that. Morgan Todd says, not all Democrats or leftists are like extremists. Extreme on both sides. One side just happens to nurture it more. Ahmed Bolton says New York. Okay. Got to agree more with Morgan on that one. Morgan Todd says, it's the internet culture to blame, honestly. Nate says, Jimmy Kimmel can fix his mistakes, but Charlie is gone forever. Sees McCall Sr. says, Kirk was serving 2 masters from what I've seen of him. Kirk was serving 2 masters. Explain that. That's quite an interesting take right there. He was serving 2 masters. Sovic says, Charlie Kirk was someone who you would hate, but also interesting to challenge his stand. Yeah, I'm going to mark that comment right there. You know what? Yeah, I wish Charlie was still alive for me to go and debate with him. I would have loved to have that debate and civil discourse with him for sure. He says God and money. Okay, so that's what you mean when you said that he was serving 2 masters. You were saying that, yeah, okay. So do people fear the truth or the reflection it triggers within themselves when they truly witness it? Says, I don't believe that. JB says, and I'm not conservative, I'm an independent voter. Okay, so shout out to JB for that one, man. We have some independent voters in here.
Speed action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened here with his conduct, that is really, really sick.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump, who has long been a critic of Jimmy Kimmel's, responded from the United Kingdom, in part saying on his Truth social media, congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what had to be done. The words of President Trump. I'm Conor.
Yeah, by the way, Donald Trump is in England right now, visiting with the King of England. Hiya, Fresh. Sorry, I'm not seeing you there. Free America says, I'm definitely not on the left and right. Been awake for many decades. It's very sad Americans are not waking up and will never wake up. Yeah. I see what you're saying by not waking up. It says, some random biatch capped a YouTuber. Who cares? Dang. Okay, very insensitive on that one. Sees McCall Sr. says, God says you can't serve 2 masters, be for him, but love sins as sins was sowing a division. Okay. I will agree, though, that Charlie knew that a lot of the language that he said was very divisive, and as such, he continued and perpetuated because he knew that it would somehow make money, right? Now, morning, brother. Shout out to Ken, man. Good morning to you as well, my man. Let's see what Arnold Schwarzenegger had to say about this. You know Arnold Schwarzenegger always gives good sound bites.
Sail across the oceans in one of the world's most at sea.
Governor Schwarzenegger, I wanted to begin on a very serious and somber note.
Ken Fax says, facts don't have feelings. Free America says, what is very, very sad is a ton of Americans will not survive. Ahmed Bolton says, brother, are you Samoan? No, I'm half Arabic and half Islander. Joshua Gomez says, Charlie Kirk didn't even divide anyone. He talked about topics people were scared of. They killed him because he brought people together. Sees McCall Sr. says he did it for the money. He definitely did. And speaking of the money, yeah, please feel free to drop some super chats if you would like. Please feel free to be kind, would you?
Note. Last week, as everyone in this room knows, the country witnessed the most horrific murder of Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah. It was a highly disturbing event, and I know that it's shaken a lot of members of our community.
Sear says, do you know what Jeffrey Epstein was up to? Chuck Pipe says, shout out to you, Chuck Pipe. First time you are here. Chuck Pipe says, the F Your Feelings crowd is having a whole lot of feelings. Dang. Okay, I'm going to mark that comment right there. That's a good point right there. Donald J. is Epstein's best bud. Is he now? Okay.
And I wanted to ask you, what were your reactions to this event, and what can you say to help our community process what this event means for something that we all care so much about, which is even when we disagree with someone vehemently.
Lupaponga says, it's F your feelings, not mine. Tommy Cox says, you think Charlie divided? You are clueless. Mike Slong says, I saved up money, left my job, and bought a heavy-duty power washer. Now I'm making my own money. Okay. Charlie says, D-Foil says, Charlie's monetary blessings were clearly from his beliefs so that he could better serve God and Christianity as a whole. Okay. Okay, I will only donate, but only if you ask. Yeah, please, Loponga. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but yeah, please, donate if you will, please. Islander Polynesian, I was thinking. Okay, so it's called FOFO. Okay, all right.
Over politics, it should never, ever descend into violence of any kind.
Well, I was very, very upset that someone's life was taken because they have a different opinion. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, this was a great communicator, a great advocate for the right, for Republican causes. And he had such a great way of communicating with the students that agreed or disagreed with him. And I just thought, it's a human being, the human life is gone. And he was a great father, a great husband. And I was thinking about his children. They will only be reading about him now, instead of him reading to them bedtime stories. I mean, it's just unbelievable of what is going on. So I was shocked when I saw this, as we all were. And I think that since then there are endless amount of debates about how do we stop this? But we have to acknowledge that the cause of all of this is the social media companies.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be taking you guys to a bonus round of this live stream right now, so stay tuned. We're going to hit the bonus round. We don't have to necessarily just talk about this situation. We could stay on this situation. We could also talk about MMA, but stay tuned for the bonus round after words from our former governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That are dividing us. The mainstream media companies that are dividing us. The political parties, the Democrats that are dividing us. The Republicans that are dividing us. So we're getting hit from so many different angles. And we have to be very careful that we don't get any closer to that cliff. Because when you fall down that cliff, down there is no democracy. So we have to be very, very careful. And I think it is very important that we turn this around. And that we show people power. Because the people can turn this around. The people have the ultimate power. And so this is why I recommend very strongly that people always say, well, what can I do? I'm just an individual. But each and every one of you in here can make a difference. You can show leadership. This is about leadership.
Listen, am I the only one that feels pumped up every time Arnold talks? Okay, like I swear, every time Arnold talks, even at 70 years old, bro, I feel so motivated. Like, man, listen, you know what, man? Let me pick up some weights right now while Arnold is talking. I'm gonna start lifting weights while Arnold is talking right now. Hold on a second. All right, we got the little 8 pounds right here. I'm gonna lift weights while Arnold is talking.
It's a time to show leadership, where USC students from the Democratic Club to the Republican Club get together. Imagine that you get together and you start having communications together and solving problems together. You would have the media turn out in no time and cover that story. And you will be an example for the rest of the nation and for all universities. How you get together. How you not see the other side
Arnold! Arnold!
or to fight fire with fire.
Fire
like
with
saying,
fire!
Or to declare war.
War! War! War!
You can
War!
show leadership and you can get together and be this example. Because remember, the people power is the ultimate
People power!
That's what democracy is all about.
Democracy!
It's all about, if you analyze the word Democrat, I mean the Latin, demo, people, crat, power. That's what it is.
So there it is. Democrat means power to the people. Trump's garbage said, what kind of screen name is that? Trump's garbage. He says Trump immediately blamed the left without even knowing who the shooter was. Doesn't that sound like divisive speech? It is. It is. Okay, I'm gonna mark that comment right there. Trump's garbage. It is. It definitely is. Dutch from Predator. No, Arnold is a loser. Fresh melon juice. Why do you say that? What? Well, you don't like Arnold, huh? I mean, you know, he's pretty good for California. Gus Bibb says, no cities burning, riots, looting, just prayers and vigils. JB says, I don't trust the Dems more than... Okay, he says, yeah, F the Dems. Not one city of Foot Locker burnt over Charlie's assassination. There you go. Okay, so... Gus says the shooter is a trans activist with trans Tifa. Okay.
It's people power. Not politician power. It's people power. So use that power instead of getting together and show to the country and to the world that we can do it. Let's just do it, okay?
There you go, right? So very inspiring words from Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so let's switch tracks a little bit. Oh wait, hold on. Obama, hold on. Obama said something about this. Let's hear what Obama. Hello, my name is Obama. All right, let's hear what Obama had to say about this. So then we go from the right to the left, okay? But he trusts the liar in chief. Ahmed Bolton says, this is a lesson for all people, especially blacks, who were talking points of his rhetoric, negative thinking about bootlicking people that hate you and doesn't help you it doesn't help your cause and your family. Genio says, so what? Live and let people be who they are. Okay.
Way too long. Let's see how much you're spending. Download an app called Rocket Money. Oh, wow.
We are certainly at an inflection point, not just around political violence, but there are a host of larger trends that we have to be concerned about. I think it is important for us at the outset to acknowledge that political violence is not new.
Hate bots melting down, he said.
It happened at certain periods in our history.
But it is something that it is anathema to what it means to be a democratic country. And regardless of where you are on the political spectrum, what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific and a tragedy. What happened, as you mentioned, to the state legislators in Minnesota, that is horrific. It is a tragedy. And there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The central premise of our democratic system is that we have to be able to disagree and have sometimes really contentious debates without resort to violence. And when it happens to some, but even if you think they're quote unquote on the other side of the argument, that's a threat to all of us. And we have to be clear and forthright in condemning.
Okay, so let's see. Gus Bibb says the bots are melting down. Trump's Garbage says, who cares if they want to be trans unless you're upset they didn't let you into their club? Obama is the most decisive president of all time, divisive president of all time, according to Fresh Melon Juice. Trump's Garbage says, that's a real president, not orange crap we have now. Yeah, you know what? I will say Obama was very statesman-like, right? Whereas with Trump, he's a little bit rough around the edges. So Russell says, I hate being lectured by this guy. Moving on till later. Okay. Fresh Melon Juice says, Obama created a divide we are living today. Some can argue that. There's some truth to that. Kat McKay says, Obama totally divided our nation. So disingenuine. Gen X Unchained says, we are not a democracy or democratic. We are a republic. I'm going to mark that comment right there. Yes, that is true. That is true, right? America is not a democratic system. Okay? Let me explain why. Okay, let me explain why. Okay? So is America a democracy or a republic? Okay, this is the true answer to this, okay? The United States is both democratic, is both a democracy and both a republic. Okay, the two terms are not mutually exclusive, okay? The U.S. system incorporates both elements. To be more specific, the U.S. is a federal constitutional representative democracy or a federal constitution republic. Okay, so let me repeat that. It is a federal constitutional republic. The United States as a republic, okay, as a government of elected representatives. In a republic, citizens elect representatives to make policy decisions based on their behalf. American people elect the president. American people elect members of Congress and other state and local officials to govern. Now, with that comes constitutional limits on power. A key feature of a republic is that it is governed by a set of laws or constitution that limits the power of government. Okay, so in other words, this protects the rights of individuals and minorities from all the will of the majority. This is an important consideration for the framers who sought to prevent mob rule, okay, because they want to prevent mob rule by controlling what could be the majority, right? In other words, they want to control you from yourselves unless you become unhinged, right? So Ahmed Bolton says, listen, I don't promote people getting unalive because they use in my words to express themselves, but I'm not sad when my enemies perish. We would have legislation passed that would not be beneficial for minds. Okay, so it's a democratic republic. Savachi Financial, it's a genocidal settler colony. I'm going to mark that comment right there. Okay? JC says, we elect people to represent us. Trump's garbage says, I would love for these right-wingers to explain how Obama caused division. So, okay, we got Savachi Financial says, no, they don't. Electoral college elects the president. Yes, that is correct. El-Kheer says, nobody says that, and if they did, they'd give a reason. Splatter says, we're a constitutional republic with a democratic process, not a democratic republic. Not quite the same and slightly confusing, but it is what it is. There you go. There you go. Right. That's very true. That is very true.
Now,
Savachi Financial says, White America! Man, I want to play that song right now, but I'll get copyrighted.
doesn't mean that
Fresh Melon Juice says, Trump's garbage. She's talking to Trump's garbage. Obama is not black in the inside. He's whiter than the whitest dude you know. He used ignorant black people just like Jasmine and her fake hood accent. Savachi Financial says these ninjas love the colonized definition. The colonized definition. Got it. Okay.
we can't have a debate about the ideas that people who were victims of political violence were promoting. And so I've noticed that there's been some confusion, I think, around this lately.
Colonizer definition. Got it. Yup.
And frankly, coming from the White House and some of the other positions of authority that suggest, even before we had determined who the perpetrator of this evil act was, that somehow we're going to identify an enemy. We're going to...
Splatter says, or just the definition of a word, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it's untrue.
Just that somehow that enemy was at fault, and we are then going to use that as a rationale for trying to silence discussion around...
Kadu says, hi, Khairi. Hello, Kadu. Shout out to you, my man.
who we are as a country and what direction we should go. And that's a mistake as well. And so, look, obviously I didn't know Charlie Kirk. I was generally aware of some of his ideas. I think those ideas were wrong.
Imagine being able to build a...
Okay, so here we go. This is the part where Obama says that a lot of Charlie Kirk's ideas were wrong. Let's hear what he has to say on Charlie Kirk here.
But that doesn't negate...
Trump's garbage says, how is Obama whiter than white? Because he speaks educated? Is that untrue? Yeah, Trump's garbage got redacted. I don't know why. Man, how did you redact that? I know you didn't redact that comment. That must have been YouTube that took your comment down. But all right, let me address that. So what Trump's garbage was trying to say is that Obama talks whiter than other white people. Why? Because he sounds educated. Trust me, man, I get that all the time, right? You know, I speak very proper, and people think like, okay, well, you know, you must not be this, you must not be that because you speak proper. Next thing you know, I show up at their house with 20 people masked up and everything, and they were like, oh my God, I can't believe you showed up at my house with all these people. I thought you were a square. I thought you were a nice guy. Haha. All right, anyways. Hey Love says Obama was targeting Islam based on lies after Bush. Remember the WMD's fake news, but target Muslims. Obama is fake. He pretended to be Muslim. I actually believe his wife is a tranny of a thing. A tranny of a thing. All right, I'm going to mark that comment right there. Hate Love. Shout out to you, man.
the fact that what happened was a tragedy and that I mourn for him and his family. He's a young man with 2 small children and a wife who...
Gus says, proper speech doesn't matter if all you have is hate to say. Yeah.
Obviously, and a huge number of friends and supporters who cared about him. And so we have to extend grace to people during their period of mourning and shock. We can also, at the same time, say that...
JC says, people on the right just make up shit, bro. Well, is it the right or the left? I mean, you could say that the both of them, right? Both of them make up stuff, to be quite honest with you. JC says, what the F are all these talking points? Bring up facts. Yeah, in reference to what Obama is saying right now.
I disagree with the idea that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was a mistake. That's not me politically.
Millions says it's the right. Okay, Fresh Melon Juice. JC, what did they make up? Give us an example. Okay, yeah, that's a good challenge right there from Fresh Melon Juice. Yeah, what did they make up? Dave says, someone just said, we are a constitutional republic, not a democracy. That person clearly doesn't know the meaning of those words. Okay, care to elaborate on that a little bit, Dave? Trump's Garbage says, hey, love, you're one of those MAGA morons that support effing con man, but talk ish about a great president that Obama was. Trump's Garbage meltdowner. Oh man, okay, we got a little fight going on in the chat right now.
Criticizing the issue,
Hate Love says, I think they both are effed. You need a new third party, a complete charge of mind, mental, and move out of the Cold War phase. Yeah, so Hate Love, it's going to be very difficult for them to implement a third party, right? They already have a two-party system. A third party would just create a distraction in whatever institution they're trying to, uphold here.
It's making an observation about who are we as a country. I can say that I disagree with the
Hate Love says, I hate Trump too, you fools. Okay.
suggestion that my wife or Justice Jackson does not have adequate brain processing power. I can say that I disagree that Martin Luther King was awful. I can disagree with some of the broader suggestions of...
Fresh says, America has one party, and that's Israel. I'm going to mark that comment right there. Facts right there. Dr. Jellyfish says, this comment section is a bunch of idiots slinging ish at each other. Hey, Dr. Jellyfish, that's good for me. You know, if you guys want to continue to do that, yeah, please do so. And also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, send some donations along the way as well. Right there. So, Millions says, liberalism, both conservative and progress have failed, and only socialism can save the masses of America from corporate oligarchs. Wow, okay, so we got some socialists in here. All right, so Mervyn Holloway says, exactly. Okay, I understand that you think is right, so I got no other ideas except to pull a Thanos. Yeah, okay, he's sort of yeah, I agree with Millie, according to Dave. JC says that Dr. Jellyfish, men are talking, stay in your lane. Ooh, all right, little harsh interaction going on there. Ryan says, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk on a dead homies, cuz.
Liberals and Democrats are promoting a conspiracy to displace whites and replace them by ushering in illegal.
JC says, at Hate Love, you're a genocidal maniac. Now, what gives you that conclusion? See, nothing constructive. Dr. Jellyfish says, see, nothing constructive. I would disagree. I think there's some pretty constructive conversations here. It's just that you got to filter out through the noise. So,
Illegal immigrants, those are all top.
JC says, Hate Love, you bring nothing to the table. Yeah, how am I, according to Hate Love? Okay.
Topics that we have to be able to discuss honestly and forthrightly, while we still insist that in that process of debate, we respect other people's right to say things that we profoundly disagree with. That's how we should approach this. Now, the last point I'll make on this, or building on a point I made earlier, I've been very impressed with Governor Cox in Utah and how he's approached.
Okay, so Obama is very impressed with the governor of Utah. Shout outs to him on that. Dave says, that's why healthcare is so bad in this country. Definitely is. It definitely is very bad in this country. Hate bots feeding frenzy. Polithanos, as in kill half the population, according to JC. Rubencito says, how are you doing, man? Shout out to you, Rubencito, my man. Shout out to you. Glad to see you here, my man. How are you, man? Hope everything is right with you. Republicanism says, for all the people that think gun violence is the reason Charlie is dead, gun violence is the reason why Charlie is dead. If guns killed people, pencils misspell words, cars drive drunk, and spoons make people fat. Wow. Okay, there you go. I'm going to mark that comment right there, Republicanism. That sounds like, yeah, that sounds very reasonable right there. Hate Love says, Gus, hi. Okay, shout out to Gus. He's saying what's up to Gus.
I suspect Governor Cox.
Dave says, how stupid do you have to be to believe that? JC says, Hate Love, duh. Yeah, okay, buddy, you are a weirdo. Wow, man, we got some fights going on in the comments section right now.
So I disagree on a whole bunch of stuff. He is a Republican.
Rubencito says, I'm doing good, man. Thank you for asking. Just here supporting the live. Thank you for your time. Yeah, man, thank you for, you know, spending your time with me, my man. I hope all is good where you are at. Trump's Garbage says, you live by hate, you die by hate. How ironic. Yeah, well, that is a prevailing idea that a lot of anti-Charlie Kirk supporters are saying for sure.
Self-professed conservative Republican. But in his response to this tragedy, as well as his history of how he engages with people who are political adversaries, he has...
Charlie Kirk, shout outs to Barry Brigadier here. The new person here, let me know what part of the world you are from. Charlie Kirk was willing to sacrifice all the glory for the Second Amendment. That's how you sound. Okay.
Shown, I think, that it is possible for us to disagree while abiding by a basic code.
Conor McGregor, the fake Conor McGregor says, Charlie hated Islam, so do you still support him? Well, I never said that I was a Charlie Kirk supporter, right? The only thing that I support out of all this is bringing news to you guys, bringing content. Obviously, right now, Charlie Kirk is hot content, and I'm going to jump on it like everybody else. So it's not necessarily that I support him. I support the fact that he was who he was, and I support the fact that I can support myself by talking about him. So, yeah, the left canceled Gina Carano for words. Man, that's true. Trump's Garbage says, Hate Love is just trying to troll while he's in his parents' basement. Master, oh man, okay. Yeah, that's a little out of hand there. JC, Hate Love says, JC, you're a weirdo. How is that? You're so deluded you can't see facts. Keep crying. It's fun. Reset Syndrome says the left canceled Roseanne for speech. Barry Brigadier says, Disney canceled Gina. Disney also fired Jimmy Kimmel. Dave says, the left did this to Gina as well. They did, yes.
Of how
Dave says Disney dropped her because she compared having to wear a mask of being in a Holocaust. Okay. Yeah, that seems a little different, right? But going back to the preface that I said in the beginning of the show, obviously, I was talking about how the left was sort of happy that right-wing people were getting fired from not taking the jab. So, Hate Love says, haha, keep dreaming. I am the man. I don't scam my family or the benefits. Go get your teeth fixed. Wow. Okay. Raul Asahi says, the left is the left. Yes. Dave says, I didn't mean to do ish to Gina. Barry says, so the reaction or her getting canceled, what got her canceled now? Dave says, yeah, but that was public health, not free speech. Ruben Cito says, what do you think about Charlie Kirk criticizing the higher education system as being a scam? Okay, I'm going to mark that comment because I have some thoughts to say about that, right? What Charlie Kirk thought about college being a scam. So understand this, right? Charlie Kirk's parents or his dad was an architect, right? Obviously, because of that, he comes from a very affluent family. Now, how did his dad become an architect? He went to college. Charlie Kirk was a college dropout. So therefore, the fact that he was a college dropout, of course he's going to have disparaging things to say about college. It's just like a person getting fired from a job. Well, you know what? I got fired from there, but that place sucked anyway. It's kind of like that. Josh says, anybody in healthcare should have been fired. Raider says, I am Charlie Kirk. Okay. Josh says, you don't put your patients at risk because of your politics. Sammy Powell says, he probably thought it was a scam because he couldn't get into college he wanted. There you go. That's what I'm saying, right? Of course, he's going to have disparaging things to say about it. I don't take too much into, oh, well, you know, Charlie Kirk was right about college or this, that, and the other. I mean, he must have had some kind of inherent bias about it. Dave says, there is a reason why college is a scam. However, Charlie never said the real reasons why it's a scam. There you go, right? Other than, of course, the hefty loans that you have to pay or this and that. But at the same time, it does get people into lucrative positions, into lucrative jobs and networking. So that's something you can't, you know, really deny. Hate Love says, I agree with some stuff with Charlie, like the education system's a scam and other stuff that I don't like. Sure, that's a balanced way of really looking at the world instead of, you know, looking at these one-size-fits-all political solutions. Glenn Diesel says, don't make excuses for him. He knows why he left college. Raider Red says, we finally got rid of that douchebag Jimmy Kimmel. Well, it's not that we're going to get rid of him, right? He could go on and have a podcast like what I do here and talk with his audience, and he'll be just fine. I think the idea that we need TV networks to be famous nowadays, I think, is just, you know, plain old stupid, right? I would argue MMA Guru is probably way more famous than Jimmy Kimmel, right? At least within the space of MMA and the boxing world. But yeah, medical school is not a scam. Yes, college can both be a scam and not a scam. Yes, two things can be true at the same time. Dave says, Rogan is a reason why, Reagan is a reason why the loans are so big. If he never did that, college would still be affordable. Yes, Reagan definitely did mess that up. Josh says interior design is a scam. Glenn Diesel says, but college fraternities is what gets your connections, not the actual education, in my opinion. I'm going to mark that comment right there because that's true right there, okay? Now, look, I went to Sac State University, right? Graduated there. And I never joined a fraternity. I'm going to tell you why. I didn't need to join a fraternity because I trained with one of the best teams in the world, which is Team Alpha Male MMA, right? So that right there is a fraternity in and of itself. Lo and behold, Uriah Faber is now part of the board committee with the combat sports committee of Sac State. Him, Shaquille O'Neal, what's his name? Andre Ward is also part of that. A whole list of people. Right now we have boxing in Sac State, right? So you're right. It is really all about connections. Guillermo, Argentine, says 6 months of membership. Sup, Kyrie? Shout out to Guillermo Argentino, my man. How are you? My LA man right here. Shout out to you, my Italian brother. Granted 6 months of membership to everybody. All right, man. Shout out to you, my man. You seem very educated, Glenn says. Yeah, I have a pretty diverse education of, of different backgrounds. So, that could range from military to martial arts to conventional college to public relations. And also, believe it or not, I've also worked in politics as well, right? I don't really tell a lot of people that, but I've worked and helped in politics as well. In college for, internship, right? I helped a state assemblyman by the name of Brian Mainshine during my, during my last year in college. So, I've got some pretty, different experience, backgrounds of certain things. So Dave says, yeah, tons of people never rush to frats and still have connections. Right. But not everybody also trained with, one of the best MMA teams in the world. So that's also another thing. Joe says, Poe, everybody does Poe. Dave says, I was never part of a frat and I have more connections than my friends did. Right, because you probably did some sort of connections in college or maybe outside of college. Fresh Mellinger says, Letterman was the last non-propaganda late night show. I don't know if he wasn't all about propaganda, but, he didn't really get all political, so... He says, nice smelling. Glenn says, I'm not educated, but thanks for the compliment. Glenn says, that's basically a fraternity, right? You guys group together to look out for each other. Correct. Yes. An MMA team. Yes. Networking, a proper internship, then turning up with the bros at the fraternity 99% of the time. Yes. Dave says it's about taking advantage of the experience in college, both socially and academically. Correct. Military also, Army, yes. Joe says, get into a real fight. MMA is for fakes. I mean, that's kind of an ignorant comment there. What do you think about Kirk's beliefs regarding Christianity? Well, obviously, as a Muslim, we have our own belief systems, right? He is a Christian. As a Christian, he believes that that Jesus is the Son of God. We don't believe that Jesus is the Son of God. We believe that he was a prophet. We believe that he was a very important man in history and a very important messenger of Allah. And we also believe that he will return, but we don't believe that he is the Son of God. And that is the difference between us and the Christians, right? And when Jesus does resurrect, just like we all believe he's going to resurrect both Muslims and Christians, we're going to find out what is what. Kuzo says, hello from Israel. Shout out to you. Fresh Mellinger says, Jesus is God. No, he is not. But that is your opinion. That is beautiful that we have our own opinions. By the way, Fresh, don't unalive me for having a different opinion, okay? So, you believe Jesus is God. We believe that he is not. He is not the Son of God. He is not God himself. He is a prophet of God. We have different beliefs. Don't unalive me, please. Okay? We just have different beliefs. That's all. So
engage in public debate. I think your own governor here, Josh Shapiro, has done the same thing. When I was president, in the aftermath of tragedies,
Kuzo says, Jesus Christ is the Son of God. No, he is not. Raider Red says, Muslims are the... Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you know what, man? Listen, I'm going to erase that comment. I'm not going to ban you, but I'm going to erase that comment, Raider, because, yeah, obviously I don't agree with that. Tempest says Aisha was 6. You're absolutely wrong about the chronological order of things, okay? Fresh Melon Juice says, I will not end you. I am not Islam nor Judaism. Okay. Ruben Cito says, but is violating a constitutional right of every American? There's a freedom of religion. Trying to make dominance of one religion is wrong. That's true. The forefathers of America obviously never really had a religion. Some of them were atheists. Some of them were Christians just by default of the nation that they were in. But yeah. Dave says that's why we have a separation of church and state, because otherwise you could just justify anything in the name of God. Hate Love says Kuzo and Israel are committing genocide. Don't be ignorant. You're all evil devil worshippers. Dang. Okay. Lynx says freedom of religion needs to be freedom from religion. Okay, well, that is your opinion. Do you know your own book? Tempest says, yes, I do. Okay, so I worship Jesus Christ, Kuzo says. Well, here's the thing. We don't worship Jesus Christ. So James White says you can't separate God from anything. That's true. That's a fundamental Islamic belief that we have as well.
Dylan Roof went into a black church and, based on his own words, shot a group.
Moon says, I don't want religion in my laws. Well, some will beg to differ. A lot of people in Utah will beg to differ with you, obviously being a Mormon state. Josh says, I agree with Lynx. Mr. C, the Constitution was written with Christian values explicitly. True, but with Christian values that also consider other religions. Hate Love says, no, we are all our own opinions. Glenn Diesel says, I'm going to subscribe, not only for the religious aspect, I don't want that, but I feel you have a very open mind and you seem to engage multiple people and opinions and respect. I like open engagements. Thank you, my man. Thank you, Glenn Diesel. Shout out to you on that, my man. Dave says, you have the right to believe what you want. Sorry, so that everyone else. That's why secular laws are important. They are based in the reality, not scripture. Kuzo says, we will have our day with God. May we have mercy on this entire chat. Inshallah. Josh says, I agree with Glenn on that one. Dave says, it's also written in the separation of church and state, Mr. C. Ruben Cito says, what's your opinion on immigration? You know what? I don't have a strong opinion on that. I know a lot of conservatives do. Even though I am a Muslim, we do have conservative values, but it doesn't extend to the point where we don't want certain people to be in a country. I mean, we don't have the right to tell people not to be in a place, one or the other. So Alan Bayless says, people who say this country was founded as a Christian nation are referring to the Pilgrims. However, USA was founded in 1776, and freedom of religion rule is part of that Constitution. Okay, that's a very good point. I'm going to mark that comment right there.
Group of folks who were engaged in.
Hannibal says, what's good, what good works Jesus has begun, he will carry to completion. Jesus began a good work in Charlie Kirk and his death, and it continues, it will carry. Okay, Moonlight says, God is good, people are evil when they use the name of God and others. Okay, I agree with Alan on that one. Rohit Chaudhry says, why are you speaking in email? Why are you speaking in email? I don't understand what you mean by that, Chaudhry. Kuzo says, is Jesus coming back? Yes, well, we as Muslims do believe that Jesus is coming back, yes.
The Bible study, and who had invited him in. And according to him, it was for racist reasons. As President of the United States, my response was not, who may have influenced this troubled young man to engage in that kind of violence, and now let me go after.
So listen, Obama made a good point here, right? When Dylan Roof went and shot up that church of black Christians, right? Obama didn't look into the investigation and say, well, what influenced him or what made him do this, that, or the other. All right, but let's continue on and hear what he had to say about this.
My political opponents and use them. George Bush, again, I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but he is a good, gracious man, and one of the, I thought, most commendable things that he did after not.
Glenn Diesel says, I'm a black male born in Utah. I experience a lot of prejudice due to religious beliefs more than their actual beliefs. We're always nice and caring to most people from my experience. If God didn't exist, we wouldn't want to be mean to each other because my husband only learns violence. Okay, you're going to have to elaborate more on what you mean by that, Links. Raider says, Muslims are, I like beating on them. Obama and Biden are the worst presidents of all time. Okay. Yeah, we're not evil people, Raider Red. I mean, listen, we're going to have to ban you for that one. Sorry. Listen, that's a little over the line right there. I have to get rid of you for that one. Sorry. You're out of here. Glenn says, I'm not Mormon. I grew up Muslim, but don't practice the religion, period. To each its own. Okay. I would advise you to obviously practice it because it's just the right thing to do. But also, with the volatile world that we are living in right now, you would need to have your dean, with you. So, Glenn Diesel, yeah, I would highly encourage you to get back on your dean if you could.
9/11, the most horrific thing to happen in the United States during the
Details for you. Luxury vacation company, real estate story here.
course of my lifetime, in my memory, in the aftermath of this terrible tragedy, made a point. We are going to go after the people who perpetrated this. But he explicitly went out of his way to say, we are not at war against Islam, and systematically and repeatedly talked about how we can't use this as a way to divide and target fellow Americans. And so when I hear not just our current president, but his aides, who have a history of calling political opponents vermin, enemies, who need to be targeted. That speaks to a broader problem that we have right now. And something that we're going to have to grapple with, all of us, whether we're Democrats, Republicans, Independents. But we have to recognize that on both sides, undoubtedly there are people who are extremists and who say things that are contrary to what I believe are America's core values. But I will say that those extreme views were not in my White House. I wasn't embracing them.
Many people would beg to differ that Obama did have a radical side to him, but that's neither here or there.
I wasn't empowering them. I wasn't putting the weight of the United States government behind extremists.
There you go. He definitely, well, I don't know about all that. I mean, I would say that Trump was just more out loud about it, but Trump did overstep a lot of state officials by letting government, federal forces, and National Guards and FBI into their law enforcement, circles. So,
and that is when we have the weight of the United States government behind extremist views, we've got a problem.
All right, so there you have it. All right, let's get to another subject right now, okay? Chris Eubank. Okay, so right now we're gonna get into the next topic we're gonna get into right now, a little less political. Okay, we're gonna get into the boxing aspect right now, combat sports in general. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn reaction. Okay, let's do that in 5 seconds from now. All right, so here we go. Full press conference right here. Full press conference right here for Chris Eubank and Conor Benn. Really some explosive stuff. Obviously, Eddie Hearn was trying to give a tribute to Ricky Hatton passing away. And guess what Chris Eubank was trying to do? He was trying to stop him from doing so. So let's get to that real quick.
Jamie, obviously, just a couple of. You might just going to say 30 seconds about Ricky Hatton.
No, there's no 30 seconds.
Chris, 1 second.
You know the drill, buddy.
Chris.
You know the drill. I'm not going to sit here and listen to anything you say.
Okay. Then
I'm an arsehole, I'm a bad guy, I'm a this, I'm a...
All I was going to do was say a few words about...
I don't want to hear any of your few words.
Okay, I won't say anything
Let's
about...
move on with the press conference.
You're an
I don't want to hear anything from you.
You get what's
I'm going to speak over you for as long as it takes.
You can do that.
We know the drill. Let's move on.
Okay.
You know what? I want to talk about something else. Forget Eddie.
Well, just firstly, Jamie, obviously, just a couple of... You might just going to say 30 seconds about Ricky Hatton.
No, there's no 30 seconds.
Chris, 1 second.
You know the drill, buddy.
Chris.
You know the drill. I'm not going to sit here and listen to anything you say.
Okay.
I'm an arsehole, I'm a bad guy, I'm a this, I'm a...
All I was going to do was say a few words about...
I don't want to hear any...
All right, so let's get to the full press conference of this right now.
We are here, of course, this evening to talk about a truly epic rematch taking place November 15th, once again here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, live on DAZN. I mean, cast your eyes and your mind back to April, a night which had just about everything and surpassed even the wildest of our expectations. We remember the theatre when Chris Eubank Sr. arrived at the stadium alongside his son Chris Eubank Jr. as Conor and his father Nigel watched on from backstage. We remember the cinema of what the atmosphere was like in this stadium. The ring walks, shoulder to shoulder alongside their fathers to their fathers' songs, simply the best and dangerous. And of course, all of that culminated in one of the best fights we have seen on British shores for many, many years. And I have no doubts, really, that the only two fighters for UK Fight of the Year 2025 who can dare to rip the trophy from Chris Eubank Jr.
Okay, hold on. There's more, let's see. Hannibal says Charlie Kirk was called hateful because he loved the person but hated the evil ideologies, while others called him loving because he loved evil ideologies while standing on the truth. Rohead says your pets don't preach. Rohead says do animals. Okay. Josh says, I don't think it had anything to do with Ricky Hatton. I think he was just getting at Eddie. Yes. Dave says, no love coming from within. are jumping that God is given the love that is not comes with us. Here's God's love. Nicholas Brockway, shout out to you. The first time I seen you here. Trump was right in sending in the National Guard and other federal agencies in his state. I don't think legally he's allowed to do that, but what else was he supposed to do? And watch the U.S. burn while the governors do nothing. Okay, that's a different point. Heard it. It was a banger. Cool. Didn't catch the Saturday fight. Truth Seeker, shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you, Marty. The F happened with that. Tell otherwise all ears. Hey, just want to hey, I want to hear about the Ricky Hatton situation. Okay. Link says, but like what you say to someone who 100% doesn't care what's an old book, how you show your love without preaching. Josh says, bro, what happened to the fight commentary? Well, you were doing a little bit of both here. Dave at 26, I would argue that the laws of God are written on the hearts of men. That to be moral person, no to the laws of Jesus is okay. So religion too seems similar to gang culture. Okay. We should all be standing together and not against each other in a fight between good and evil. Okay. Kyrie, why are we not talking about Canelo getting dog walked by Crawford? Because I did talk about that in the previous stream. I did have a reaction to that. Go check that out as well. I will further say that if you need the afterlife to be a moral person, you actually aren't one. I don't know about that. Interesting. Rohit says, that's my belief. Rohit says, we made God to control others in the name of religion. And, okay. Ruben Cito says, do you think the United States will fall eventually due to corruption, social division? I hope not. I hope not. For the sake of our children that have to live here, I would hope not. So, ban this guy, Raider. He's searching for attention. Yeah, I did ban him already, actually, this Raider guy. So, yeah, man. What's up? Hate love. All right, man. Glad to see Marty Miller here.
Yeah, and Conor Benn in April are Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn in.
Gemma says hi. I am Italy. I am from Italy. Okay, shout out to Italy, man. We got some Italians in here. Okay.
November. So let's get straight to it then. The press conferences have always been fun. So let's hear from the fighters. Firstly, a quick word from Chris Eubank Jr. Chris, when you think back to April...
I'd like you to address Conor first. I think I'm just interested to hear what he's got to say.
Okay, as you wish. Firstly to you, Conor Benn.
Man, Chris Eubank is taking full control of this press conference. I mean, yeah. Hannibal says, yeah, Dave, because God is love. We were created in the image of God. How can we express love without God? That is one without ourselves is contradiction. Okay, Glenn says the accent from Italy. Fresh Melon Juice says Rohat Chaudhry, the Big Bang can't be explained by science. To them, it's a miracle. Now that sounds like God to me. Yes. Hate Love says, hiya, Truth Seeker. DW, I'll call you Truth from now on. Okay, yes.
Conor, when you think about what happened...
Chaudhry says, we are not created by the image of God. God, we created the image of... okay.
In April, you always said it was the early runs that got you out of bed because you feared losing in this game. How has the reality been for you, and what have you perhaps learned about yourself since April?
Yeah, listen, I mean, it's always hard processing a loss. Nobody prepares to lose. You know, as fighters, we want to do our best, but ultimately we want to get the victory at all costs. You know, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about myself. I want to go back to the drawing board and work and learn, gain experience, and experience was gained. So no doubt, November 15th, you get a better version.
Chris, has your opinion on Conor Benn changed since the first fight, as a person, as a fighter? Do you respect him more than you did then?
What a crazy, crazy world we live in today.
Glenn Diesel says, Eubank is usually a nice stand-up guy, had to be personally motivated. Dave says, you are making a leap in logic. I don't know how this works. It must... Oh, okay, so they're having a little bit of an argument there. Eric Van Sheer, shout out to you. Good luck then. Thank you, my man. Yeah, good... Yeah, let me know what part of the world you're from, my man.
For my entire life as a professional fighter, I have been the villain and the bad guy. 14 years and 38 fights of people loving to hate me.
Marty says order can't come from a catastrophe. That's like a tornado going through junk and producing a perfectly constructed 747. Yes, that's that's a very good point, Marty. I'm going to mark that comment right there.
I get ahead of myself, but from what I'm seeing online nowadays and the interactions I'm having with people all over the world in the streets, I don't know if I'm that guy anymore. It's not just boxing fans that are approaching me now. It's little girls, elderly folk, housewives, people that really have nothing to do with boxing. And they are all, they're all greeting me. They're all wishing me the best of luck. It's humbling. The funny thing is, if you speak to this side of the table, Eddie Hearn will tell you, as he told the world after the fight, that Conor Benn is in fact the people's champ. I mean, wow. That is...
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space?
All right, so the chat is going, having some religious arguments right now.
That's incredible.
I can't read all of that right now because it's coming by so fast, but if you guys are watching this, yeah, be sure to look at the live section of the commentary and watch these comments because they are going crazy right now.
Conor Benn, you did it. I get the people's champ. One thing I know for sure is that
Nick Spicer, shout out to you. First time I've seen you here. You are conflating an evolution as a random catastrophe, not at random. Chaudhry says, no such things exist, dude. Don't worry about it. Hate Love says there is only one God. Glenn says man created specific gods and religions. Okay.
Conor Benn, he put on a great fight. He went out there and he did what I did not expect him to do. But, I'm going to tell you right here and now, you ain't no champ. And you most definitely ain't no people's champ, so get that out of your head. You keep letting Eddie Hearn blow smoke up your ass and you're going to end up being even more of an embarrassment than he is. These men are not men of the people. They are pretending. They're pretending to be the good guys. Wolves in sheep's clothing, if you will.
Now that is an interesting accusation that Chris Eubank has going on for Eddie Hearn and Conor Benn. Very interesting. He called them a a wolf in sheep's clothing. Rosefly says if Charlie Kirk were a first grader at school, America would have moved on by now. Wow. Wow, yeah. Unfortunately, you are right about that. Dave says, Rosefly says, Epstein. Yeah, please don't spam that.
They will do anything they can. They will screw over anybody they can. They will cut any corners they...
But yeah, facts, Rose. I agree with that, yes.
They will break any rules they can to try and get ahead. Ruthless, immoral, and without restraint.
He said ruthless, immoral, without restraint.
These men are. They did everything they could to try and destroy me in this last fight.
Fresh Melon Juice says, at Rosefly, yes, because a first grader didn't change America. Okay, Josh says, I may have to agree with Chris there. Yeah, Eddie is sort of a snake, isn't he?
Contract breaches.
But at the same time, Eddie has a good side to him. But let's hear what Chris has to say about what isn't good about Eddie Hearn. Oh, Lance East Ridge, first time I seen you here. He says, F all you communist pieces of ish. Charlie Kirk was a great man, part of the MAGA movement. You guys don't F at all with the Democrat Party and the communist trash. All right, man. So Lance coming in you know, with some fire and brimstone at you liberals and communist trash out there. Shout out to Lance. Let me know what part of the world you are from, Lance. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the live stream. I hope that you are enjoying this content right here.
Fines, rehydration clauses, sabotage weigh-in, bias.
Hannibal says there are over 1,800 ancient scriptures, Roman historical texts confirming the events of Christ, the prophecies of Jesus in the Old Testament, the prophecies thereafter, and the claims of Jesus. Yes, and we also have Jesus in the Quran as well. And by the way, the Quran was a book that predicted the pharaohs being preserved all throughout time, and also all these prophecies that are coming true right now. So Hannibal says all the back signs in historical texts, not just the Bible or the scrolls. Yes. Glenn says, keep spitting facts. Okay.
Commentary and refereeing. Oh my God. The list goes on, it's endless. Even on fight night, they blocked my team from coming to the stadium for 30 minutes. And then when I arrive, they have security walking in front of my car, trying to slow me down and stall me as much as possible to make me late.
I've never heard so much waffle.
It's okay.
In all my life.
You can hear a lot more.
No, but I was, you know.
You can hear a lot more.
Do you guys believe that? Let me know in the comment section below if Eddie Hearn actually did do these things, try to slow Chris down at the day of the fight, also try to bar his team from entering the arena or the stadium. Let me know, guys. So, okay, there seems to be more religious debates going on down here, so this is good. Okay.
You know, it's incredible the levels that these guys will stoop to. I finally get into the stadium. I get into my change room. I'm preparing. They're sending idiots to try and disrupt me in my changing room. We get through that. I go out there, outside these walls, and I win the fight. Now,
and by the way, it was a great fight. Great back and forth between them, by the way. So, okay, Hannibal says, I'd argue that you can't give me one scientific discovery that doesn't indicate intelligent designer. Nick Spicer says, you believe whichever religion you were brought up in and rationalize the world through how you grow up. Not all the time. Ask the Muslim converts that didn't grow up Muslim, right? So, Josh says, I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. is making up his anger for Eddie Hearn. Okay. Dave says it's tectonic plates. Chaudhry says, which would happen. Okay.
The fight, due to severe dehydration, I'm put in an ambulance and I have to go to hospital. I was actually so dehydrated that one of the toenails on my big toe fell off. It actually fell off. It's growing back about halfway now. But anyway, I'm in this ambulance.
Jesus, not a toenail.
I'm in the ambulance, and you still got it. These scumbags blocked that ambulance.
Josh says, clearly Hearn acted like a snake and he's pissed.
From leaving the stadium.
In all honesty, Josh, I don't know if Eddie Hearn has it in him to be like that, but the way that Chris is describing this, I don't know, man. It's, you know, hey, listen, Benn is his fighter, right? So, yeah, you know, he will ride for his guy and try to tarnish the other guy, I suppose.
20 minutes.
By the way, this is an integral. Keep going, because this is all being noted.
20 minutes.
Absolute waffle.
20 minutes.
Waffle.
Locked in.
Waffle.
I'm laying there in a gurney.
I love British slang, right? He calls it this is an absolute waffle. A waffle. Rohat Chaudhry says the preachers in the USA drive fancy cars, live in million-dollar mansions where the normal public can barely afford a house. Well, but here's the thing, right? Who gave them that money? It was the people of the church, and by the way, usually given by poor people. Dave says also intelligent design still doesn't mean that it is you're the designer. You have to prove existence of a higher power, and that is specifically yours. Glenn Diesel says facts. Okay.
oxygen mask on.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And the car cannot move.
Glenn Diesel says religion is a hustle. It shouldn't be, but it is for some people to a certain extent.
They will not open the gates to let us leave. Now,
who won't open the gates?
Now, if this was a serious injury that...
Hate Love says, guys, all the guys in here, all of you engaging, please like, subscribe, it's free. Shout out to you, my man. Josh says, like Eubank being melodic, dramatic for sure, but I would bet large sums of money that the truth is to what he says. Dave, I admire skepticism. I encourage you to actually plug in and do your research and think critically and decide for yourself, but don't make such a judgment without proper research. Okay. Paul Salas says, freedom of speech just ain't saying what you want to say. It's also hearing what you don't want to hear. Demons, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Truth Seeker says, religion is man-made. People mess up everything. Just because you disagree with religion doesn't mean there is not a God. Okay, that's a very good point. At Dave, you are talking about Kenneth Copeland. At Dave, I have many years I did research and came to my own conclusion. Yeah, that guy, according to Dave.
I sustained that 20 minutes.
Chris, I want to know who wouldn't open the gates. It's important.
That 20 minutes.
You can't answer that, can you?
Could have been the difference.
Yeah, who didn't want to open the gates? We want to know.
It's between life and death.
You talk shit, you.
And while this was all happening, Conor, Benn, and Eddie Hearn are in here talking to the media, lying about how I had a broken jaw, and that was the reason why I was going to hospital. Bullshit artists of the highest degree.
Chris, can we get one thing clear? Can you
absolutely?
Can you just confirm that you are accusing?
Yes, I am accusing. Or yes.
Okay, say it.
You guys say it.
Oh no! You don't. No! Don't say it. Don't say it, Chris. He's setting you up for a lawsuit. Don't say it. Eddie said, "Can you confirm that Matchroom?" No! Don't say it, Chris. Let's see if he says it. The guy looks evil to me, LMA. I mean, why would Chris Eubank have these people's names?
From getting it out.
Say it.
You know, because
Matchroom.
Who else
Okay.
would have been?
Go on, say it.
Why was I in an ambulance for 20 minutes?
That match.
Paul says, bye, Felicia. Oh, my bad. Bye, Jimmy Kimmel. Biatches. My man's having a field day on Jimmy Kimmel right now. Rohit Chaudhry says, Ja, is that giant rat in... Oh, man.
True.
Why was I what? So you can try and sue me with your little lawyer.
See, there you go. That's what it is right there. He wants to say that so he can try and sue you.
I think you're talking about the wrong guy.
You're not
Say
supposed to be up there.
Say it.
These are the levels.
You talk shit.
These are the levels of
we stopped you.
generosity
Toenail was falling
that
off.
these people go through. Eddie, the last time you were up here, you were talking about how famous and popular you were, even more famous than me.
You know what? Listen, this kind of brings everything to light. Look, I did not see this press conference. All I saw was that Chris Eubank went after Eddie Hearn for disrespecting Ricky Hatton, and that wasn't the case. But on any regard,
it's impossible. You're the people's champ.
What? You said it.
No, you said you're getting stopped by grannies and children and throwing themselves at you like you're the Pope. It's incredible.
Absolutely.
And even with half a toenail. But come on.
Nick Spicer says, ignorance would be believing that your own religion has facts and history behind it that are verifiable, while saying another religion who is making the same claims as history are wrong. Okay, Hannibal says, the truth is we all fall short to the glory of God. Okay, Dave says, God is impossible. Your specific God is man-made. Okay.
Believe it.
The fact
that's
of the matter
interesting.
is,
the fact is,
we
stopped your ambulance from going to the hospital.
A glorified desk jockey.
Desk jockey?
That's what you are.
Okay, that's interesting.
Living off of the back of hard-working fighters. That's what you are. So the fact that you can sit here talking about how popular and famous you are,
what I don't have is someone lying about what happened on the night
to
try and gain more popularity.
Ego and narcissism with it.
Josh says Eubank's mistake was going into too much detail. All he had to do is say they did shady shit. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to mark that comment, right? Reason being is because obviously Eddie Hearn is going to set you up to get sued. You can't put it past Eddie Hearn and suing you. He's trying to sue Jake Paul. Okay, so, yeah.
About all the bullshit you want to.
I don't need to make anything up. It's all documented.
You're playing
it's
the victim.
all documented. I'm not
and we see
victim.
through you.
I won the fight.
Well done.
There's no victim here. I won the fight.
But don't
Against
worry.
all
You
odds.
accuse us of stopping the ambulance.
Everything that you guys tried to do.
We'll see.
You tried to destroy me, and you did not.
You're talking about we put things in place that you signed to do.
100%.
You signed.
So people are still on the chats right now debating on religion. I like it, man. Keep it going, guys.
You tried and you failed, and you're gonna fail again this time. You guys are gonna do all your little tricks and do all the things you can to try and get my head
Daniels over
and derail me. It's not going to work.
We'll see.
Okay?
But you don't talk shit about things that you
It's the truth.
But it's not.
I know the truth.
No,
It's
it's
hard
not.
for you to hear.
Listen, you've already accused us of stopping your ambulance from going to the hospital. That's fair enough. We'll see.
That's what happened.
We'll see.
That's what happened.
Okay, we will see, my friend.
Listen, you've never had a hard day's work in your life.
All right.
I don't know why you're talking to me.
And you've only had one.
You think,
and that was the last time.
A hard
Let me
day's
tell you,
work.
you're going to have a real hard night's work on November 15th.
In your multi-million-pound estate, writing up contracts to fleece fighters out of as much
We'll
money.
see, Chris.
That's what you think hard days
We will see.
Or flying around on jets to different countries,
We will see.
talking about how great other men are.
We see through your games.
You don't know about blood, sweat, and tears.
You don't give a shit about
You don't
anyone.
know about blood, sweat, and tears. You know about how to use people.
We'll see.
That's the man you are.
Okay. We'll see.
We will see.
We will.
Conor, quick one to you. Has your opinion changed on Chris Eubank Jr.?
I mean, I take my hat off to him, you know, because you need a dancing partner, and he was that for me. Did I underestimate him? I did. I genuinely thought I'd knock him out in 3-4 rounds on my heart. You know, well, Chris, shut up, mate. That's what I genuinely believed. You know, so I underestimated him, but you know, he gave me one hell of a fight, and it was one hell of a fight. And yeah, I'm excited for next time round, to be honest, mate.
Well, let's hear from...
You know, this was the first time in my life that I've ever seen a fighter lose and then go on some type of victory tour. This guy.
No, there was
this
no.
guy was going to events.
There was no
doing interviews.
We were
buying cars.
No, that was your car that you gave me. That was the 500 grand for your unprofessionalism that gave me that car.
You flew over to America. You're taking pictures of people. Oh, I'm so grateful for the love and the support that fans are showing you. You're going on like you won. You do understand you lost, right?
You want me to finish? He had all 10 toenails.
You do understand you lost, right?
I'll tell you what that reminds me of. Remember when Berlanga went all 12 rounds with Canelo, right? He went on a victory parade, which was madness. Now, to the defense of Conor Benn, I don't think that's what he did here. I don't think that he went on to have, you know, a victory tour. I just think that he got done with a fight. He went out to America to go check out other fights, to go to other events, and I think that's just all it was. Very interesting, though. But, yeah, everybody on the chat is still going at it with, you know, the religious comments and, you know, religious debates. I like it, man. Keep it going. I'm reading all your comments right now while I'm watching this. So, you know, just keep this in mind and keep it respectful as much as you can, please.
I mean,
Glenn Diesel says, whatever powers may be have no concern with us. It's just moved beyond.
I was illusion of
Listen, Chris, the reality is, while you were sipping food for a straw, I was back in the gym after the fight, ready for September 20th. Why was you not ready? We was locked in September 20th. So if you want to talk about a little tour, I was training meanwhile.
I'm going to give you this designer bag.
So that's an interesting point by by Conor Benn. He said that right after the fight, he got right back into training right away. Small Bass Fishing says, I agree with Glenn. Shout out to Small Bass Fishing. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man. Paul says it's time to tackle this trans issue. Okay.
I was living life, my friend.
I don't so what you just said, stupid,
man.
Well, you
I
just
don't
said
care that you were ready.
Listen, I don't care. Ultimately, we find November 15th, mate. And, yeah.
Small Bass Fishing says he's from Louisiana. Shout outs to everybody in Louisiana, my man. Dave says, all right, enough slacking off at work. I'm out. Have a good day with the rest of you. Shout outs to Dave. And remember, your God loves trans people more than... Oh, man. All right, man. Well, shout outs to Dave on that comment right there. Hate Love says, to respond to Dave, I was just curious. Trying to see what you meant, but not being rude, just learning. Chaudhry says, people say Jesus will come back. My guy, even if he did come back today, people won't buy it if someone claimed they were the Son of God. Well, Jesus is not the Son of God, but yeah. Josh says, the only way Benn is going to beat Eubank is if he gets on gear. Eubank is too big for the body, and it's unfair. Yeah, I think he's going to lose again on this one. I will be surprised if he does actually win this time, though. Glenn says, we just need to look out for each other. I agree with that. Kids, you are perfect the way God made you. Shout outs to Paul on that one. Yes, not really with all that, transitioning at a young age. I'm not with it at all. But I think you should just,
15th. It was supposed to be September 20th, but your unprofessionalism and your unprofessional team weren't ready.
I don't need to fight you when you want to fight. I've lost. I don't need you.
No, it's not anyone. It's not when I wanted. It's when everybody wanted. When Turk Al-Sheikh wanted. When the whole team had agreed and arranged for the fight to happen. You know what happens when you have an agreement? Do you know what happens? You know when you sign a contract? Do you know what
Dave says, also, thanks for the stream, dude. Appreciate it. Thank you, my man. I hope you come back. I hope you continue to engage with the show. And thank you for your time. And, thank you for listening. And, please don't forget to recommend me to all your friends as well. Inshallah. All the blessings to you. God bless you, Dave. Okay? No pun. No pun at that, but, it's obviously a gesture that I would say to anybody anyway. Josh says, like a big respect for Benn for fighting a guy he's outsized against to preserve his father's legacy. Yes.
that is?
I didn't sign a contract to fight you on
Do you know what that is?
I signed
what that is?
rematch you. I didn't sign.
Do you know what that is?
So,
do you know what an agreement is?
Now, the date is perfect.
But do you know what an agreement is? Do you understand?
No, I don't know what agreement is. What is it?
You're an idiot, that's why.
Yeah, all right, man.
Okay, we'll certainly come back to Chris and Conor. Let's hear from...
Yeah, that's interesting, right? They were supposed to fight on September 20th, which is 3 days from now, meaning that if they were supposed to fight on September 20th, this right here would be the fight press conference, the final press conference leading up to that fight.
The other faces here on the top table here, though, this evening, firstly to you, Ben Shalom of Boxer. An epic night in April, a big win for your man, Chris Eubank Jr. How do you honestly believe November 15th will compare?
Look, I want to thank Riyadh Season and Salah and the ring for making this possible again. I think the first fight brought the popularity back to British boxing. It was.
Yeah, I agree with you on that comment right there. Small Bass Fishing. Josh says it works out better. That is exchanging. It's hitting the news now.
The biggest night I've ever been involved in. It was a bigger fight after the fight, thanks to these two warriors.
Oh, so meaning, Ja, that you're saying that at least what they are doing is creating more time to build this fight up even more. What fight are you talking about? Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn fighting for the second time in November 15th. So November's got a pretty good, lineup. You got Conor Benn. And then a week after that, November 22nd, is Benavidez and Anthony Yard. And then obviously UFC is there as well. Yeah, the hype is building up now. Yup. Yeah, especially with the Ricky Hatton comments that Chris has done there. Glenn Diesel says better build up and bigger money. Yes, correct.
It was a spectacle that demanded a rematch. It's phenomenal that we've managed to do it again in the same year, but this one will be even bigger. I think Chris Eubank Jr. and what happened and his story and the hurdles that he had to go through endeared himself to the British public like I've never seen before from a British fighter, and it really is the Chris Eubank Jr. show. I have to say, I'm so happy to see Brian McIntyre here in all the fights that I've promoted with Chris.
There it is, and Bo Mac is back. Just like that, he's back at it once again in the corner of Chris Eubank. So did he make Ricky Hatton's comments? Only saw him blast Eddie. Yes. I played that in the very beginning. Much love, chat, according to Paul. Shout out to Paul, my man. Shout out to you. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man.
That rematch against Liam Smith was the most focused, was the most dedicated, was the best Chris Eubank Jr. I have seen, and I think Chris will be doing it in even more emphatic.
Yes, Glenn Diesel. Tyson and Mayweather is a real thing. That is going to happen. They just need to announce a date somewhere in 2026, early 2026, I would assume.
Fashion on the bench.
Congratulations, Bomac. I mean, the performance Terrence put on against Canelo the other day was exceptional. So congratulations to you and the Terrence Crawford team. Everyone give it up for her.
Thanks, man.
That was great performance by Terrence
Really,
Crawford.
let's see how you get on here this evening. Despite the setback for Conor Benn in April, what do you believe changed about the way he is seen within the boxing world?
Well, just firstly,
Glenn Diesel, you don't seem very thrilled about the Mayweather-Tyson fight. Let me know. Big weight difference. Well, big weight difference, but it's a matchup that actually can happen right now due to the age of Tyson and also more favorable towards Floyd, to be honest with you. Tyson is going to take a dive, just like, I don't know about that, you know what I mean? If he ain't taking no dive, not for no Mayweather, you know what I mean? That's for sure.
Jamie, obviously, just a couple of...
All right, here we go, right here. This is the part right here, okay?
30 seconds about Ricky Hatton.
No, there's no 30 seconds.
Chris, 1 second.
You know the drill,
Chris.
You know the drill. I'm not going to sit here and listen to anything you say.
Okay.
I'm an asshole, I'm a bad guy, I'm a this, I'm a...
All I was going to do was say a few words about...
I don't want to hear any of your few words.
Okay, I won't say anything about...
Let's move on with the press conference.
You're an
I don't want to hear anything from you. I'm going to speak over you for as long as it takes.
You can do that.
We know the drill. Let's move on.
Okay.
You know what? I want to talk about something else. Forget Eddie. I want to talk about...
What did Chris want to talk about before we get into the commercial of this right here? What does he want to talk about here? Yeah, I think he's doing that to stop him from having a moment. Okay, so you're saying that he's trying to stop him from having a moment? Jose Cotto says, when Jesus told Peter to go back out and throw the net was to catch a miracle. Truth Seeker says it's an exhibition. They're just going to play around. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. What? Tyson versus Mayweather, that'll be exciting. Small bash fishing. Yes, that is announced. Small bash fishing. They are actually going to fight. Can you believe that? I mean,
the British boxing board are control.
But fight though, it's an exhibition. Even if it's an exhibition, it's still exciting to see both of them in in the same squared circle together. Entertaining nonetheless, right? Doesn't make it any less entertaining. I mean, look. For those of you that watch basketball, I'm sure you would also find the Harlem Globetrotters an entertaining concept to go and check out as well. So,
and
Hate Love says he did. He did, Jake. They even did a play-by-play before the match. It was all scripted. I did not realize. I only thought WWE was rigged. Jake and Tyson were a real professional fight, though, from what I remember. That was not a classified exhibition.
Specifically, a man by the name of Robert Smith. This is...
All right, let's hear what Chris Eubank is going to press Eddie Hearn on right here.
Big boss behind the scenes. The head honcho. A man with all the power that controls everything that goes on in professional boxing inside of the United Kingdom.
Jeez.
This guy's a big deal. He really is.
Glenn says, well, WWE is scripted. They sell out arenas all the time. There you go. Yup. Truth Seeker says, I tend to agree with Hate Love on this one. Yup. Okay.
Now, this idiot allowed a room full of media and cameramen into my private weigh-in the day before the fight.
Is this when you were sabotaged
The
again?
time that it took to get these people out contributed to me missing the weight.
Chris, you turned up over an hour late.
And getting fined $500K.
You turned up over an hour late.
He let Conor Benn fight in gloves filled with horsehair, knowing that was a direct breach of the contract I had for this fight. On fight night, he personally escorted an arch nemesis of mine, Billy Joe Saunders, to my changing room.
So boring.
To disrupt and try and ruin my preparations for the biggest fight of my life. So
he said an arch nemesis of his, Billy Joe Saunders. Jose Cotto says, thank you. Then in my opinion, that was Jesus' first miracle, not turning the water into wine at the wedding. Would you agree? Yeah, I don't know about all that, turning wine into water, or I don't know about all that. Hate Love says, the truth is I felt a bit lonely here today. Right there, for Truth Seeker right there. Josh says, he took the Billy Joe Saunders, a massive troll, to taunt him before the fight. That's actually hilarious. I mean, if you think about it, that's actually quite strategically genius if you think about it.
And then afterwards, he gets into the ring and is trying to shake my hand and congratulate me. I mean, the ball's on this guy. It's viciously clear for me to see that this toad is nothing more than a puppet and a pawn. I think he is in the back pockets of Matchroom and Eddie Hearn.
Another one that's got it in for you.
Absolutely.
You are so unlucky.
So unfortunately, just another scum.
See, the way Eddie is looking at this, it's crazy, right? It kind of resembles politics right now, American politics. Eddie is claiming that Eubank is claiming victimhood. Let me give a shot of his picture right here, right? Because this is like a hilarious picture to like give a shot of. Oh, look at this right here. He's got his hands up like, I don't know, I'm the victim. Everybody's out for me. Everyone's out for me for some reason. You know, everyone's trying to target me. And then Eddie is saying, well, you know, you're just making all of this up. You know, you're playing the victim card. I mean, it sounds very much a lot like politics, right? Glenn says, I think it was also called Japan All-Pro Wrestling. Yes. Josh says, I mean, Eubanks is over the top playing a victim for sure, but also Eddie is not innocent. Yeah. There's always two sides to every story, right? Again, just like politics. So, very interesting comparison.
Bag in this
you're
treacherous
and the chairman of the British Boxing
underhanded industry we find ourselves in.
The mask is slipping, Christopher.
It's unfortunate. Now, continuing on from that, the board, the British Boxing Board of Control.
So the guy that he's mentioning is a member of the British Boxing Board of Control. So
they opened several investigations into some of the things I did in the lead up to the fight. No investigations, by the way, into why my ambulance was stopped from leaving the...
Gotcha 420 says, welcome to Consequences Culture. Wow, yeah, that is a new thing now, right? Consequences Culture versus cancel culture. So, very interesting. Glenn Diesel says, also, just an opinion, but have you ever think that Jesus might be an early form of a street magician using a platform to spread some peace? Just a man with skill like David. No, I don't believe that at all. I think that he's a prophet of God, and that's about it. Yeah, New Japan Pro Wrestling Hate Love says.
A stadium for 20 minutes, but I guess trying to find out why I was talking about being in a sauna before the fight is much more important. Anyway,
you created an environment in which I could
the board have graciously awarded me with a multitude of fines over the last 6 months. And my question is...
Wow, so Chris Eubank's been getting fined. Wow. Marty Miller says, there are over 300 prophecies in the Old Testament about Jesus came true. There you go. Glenn Diesel says, that's one I believe.
Where is this money going? You know, the Boxing Board of Control, they're supposed to be supporting the foundations and governing the community of boxing in Great Britain. So in my eyes, the money that I was being fined should be going to the community, should be going to kids that can't afford equipment. It should be going to local gyms. The money should be going to fighters who have suffered injuries, medical bills. But as far as I can see it, that's not happening. The money simply...
Gotcha 420 says, "Welcome everyone. Welcome to you, Gotcha 420. Let me know what part. Let me know what part of the world you are from, brother."
To be lining the pockets of fat cats on the board, like Robert Smith. Don't worry, Ben. It's okay. And you know, it's sad to see. So I'm asking you guys, the media, to shine a light on this situation and find out where is all this money going. Because it's not going to the community, I'll tell you that now. Just food for thought.
Well, let's hear from the training teams as well, quickly. Firstly to Bomac and Asel Diagaz as well, down there at the end of the table. Bomac, as Chris said, congratulations on a wonderful victory with Bud Crawford over the weekend, but back involved in Team Eubank for this fight. When did that all come about, and what do you think of this man here, Conor Benn, as a challenge?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks for, this great event. I'm happy to be a part of. How it came about was just by a phone call. And after I watched the first fight, and when they called for the second fight, we tried to get together for the first fight, but the timing wasn't right. When they called, it was a no-brainer.
All right, so Dallas, Texas. Shout out to Dallas, Texas. Oh, man. You know what? Gotcha 420. I wonder if you're a Dallas Cowboys fans, by the way. Right now in Netflix, I'm currently watching the Dallas Cowboys history, right? During the era of Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson, right? You know, that era of Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin. So, yeah, man, really interesting, to say the least, right? Really interesting documentary about your team. So, I don't know, if you're Dallas Cowboys fans, I'm sure you would appreciate that. So, yeah. Oh, man, I can't read in Russian, but yeah, I'm going to call you Russian. A says, "Hi, hey, man, how are you? Let me know." Well, okay, I know what part of the world you are from, obviously, with Russian letters like that. Josh says, "I love when money was mentioned, Eddie quickly pivoted." Yeah, that is suspicious, right? He didn't want the smoke on that question for a reason. Glenn Diesel says, "Those old Japan MMA and wrestling leagues were awesome. Great VHS memories." Yes, they were coked up cowboys. Yeah, they were coked up, huh? R.I.P. Charlie. See you soon, brother. Yeah, see you soon as well. Gotcha 420. Shout out to everybody in Dallas, Texas, and God bless everybody in Texas. God bless Texas, as they say. Shout out to all of y'all. Yes, Glenn, loved it. You remember Monday Night Wars? They were epic. Yes. I'm from fascist Canada, John says. Okay, I watched Dallas Cowgirls. I watched the Dallas Cowgirls, not the Cowboys. Okay. Okay. So I'm assuming you're not a fan of your local team, man. People must hate you down there if you're not a Dallas Cowboys fan. I would imagine people are in love with the Dallas Cowboys day, and rightfully so.
So I'm just happy to...
He said, "Heck yeah, that was dope when you had to wait weekly for entertainment." Yeah, it's a different world now, right? Entertainment is there in an instant, so...
Be here, be a part of a historical fight.
How much better do you believe your man, Chris Eubank Jr., can be in this fight?
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is no knock on them over there, I believe it's going to be a little bit easier this time. For the camera.
Green Bay certainly loves the Cowboys. Huh, okay. Pork Chop says, "Do you like RVs?" Yeah. I love RVs, man. Yeah. For sure. RVs are fun. Yep.
Right. For the simple fact he already got his number. It's hard to get get away from when somebody already did beat your ass. That's hard because it's already stuck in your head.
They said I'm too old, Coach. They said I don't want it anymore. They said I'm washed up.
Hey, they gonna find out.
That's right.
I have just been informed in my ear a special message from His Excellency Turkey El-Sheikh, who says that Eddie Hearn is more popular than Chris Eubank Jr. because he has his own Netflix documentary.
That's good news. Chris can watch that tonight.
Wow, how about this, right? Yeah, man, what a plug by Turkey El-Sheikh. He wanted to chime in, called the host of the presser, right, in his ear, and he says, yeah, just wanted to let you know that Eddie Hearn is way more popular than Eddie Hearn because he has his own Netflix show, and then he goes and throws in the Netflix right there. Is good one right there.
Episode. Yeah.
He says, yes, it was really a good quality story feeling. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's getting quite better. I just posted a video of R-Truth making Brock Lesnar break his character. It's funny as F.
Yeah. We all know about that, how you're postering me all over your trailers.
Oh,
and stuff like that.
yeah.
The guy that doesn't deserve to be here and you're using me in all your trailers. For
I know.
It's okay.
You made me a lot of money in it.
One thing you're not going to do is promote that
One
crap.
thing was amazing.
At my
People's
press
Champ.
conference. So
6 episodes, 5 hours of
it
work.
doesn't matter how many episodes
You pull your plonker
We're
off
still
in Brighton
gonna
all night
be
for that. You would be loving
a
it.
scumbag promoter that uses other fighters.
Oh, Hate Love says, I got a copyright for it, but it's still in my channel. Okay, a copyright strike. Got it.
Tell yourself into the limelight.
Loses tone.
You're so famous. You talk more than your fighters do. Look at you.
That's my job.
Conor hasn't said a word. You're the only one talking.
I'm listening to you about Roberts.
It's
moaning like a baby as the mask slips.
I'm talking because otherwise, if I'm
talking, be quiet.
You sit.
You shut your mouth down.
And nobody wants to hear you talk. No one
wants to hear about it. It's out now. No one's going to watch it, mate. Good luck.
Trainer Tony Sims, a quick word from yourself. When you think about the game plan, Tony, what perhaps didn't go to
Yeah, Eddie is definitely a marketing genius for sure.
plan in April, and what do you believe will be different this time round?
Yeah, look, the fight was a tremendous fight for the fans. Both boys put everything on the line, and it was a great fight, and I believe, and Conor knows this, that he's got to make adjustments to beat Chris the next time. But I believe that Conor's got it in his locker to do that, and I think he was too much emotionally involved in that first fight. I believe that there was a lot of firsts that happened to him. Obviously, the first fight up at middleweight, as we know, he's a welterweight, and it was his first fight at middleweight. First time topping the bill in a big stadium, and obviously his first loss. So he's.
Glendale says, is it true that the NFL can technically rig games because it falls under entertainment and not sports? Also, wouldn't that mess up the gambling aspects? Yeah. It's federal law, man. You cannot rig games because there's betting involved, and you have to protect the gamblers that are involved in it. So you are not allowed to rig it. They should incorporate it. Gotcha 420 says incorporate DIE in the NFL. That would be hilarious. Oh, yeah, man, listen, the DIE is not something that we need in sports, right? You know what I mean? And that's sort of one of the arguments that Charlie Kirk had with this black gentleman about what if they started to DIE the NBA. And then that black gentleman went and said, I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that even the European players are, a lot more proficient than the black players, from what they say. I don't know how true that is, but yeah. I remember when Eddie punked out Jake Paul, he did not have a word to reply with. Yeah, he punked him by trying to sue him. You know what I mean? Which is what Eddie Hearn was just implying he was going to do to Eubank here. So
he's got to overcome that, and he's got to make these adjustments. But I believe that he will do that. And I believe that he will become victorious this time.
If you had to choose between flipping a house or flipping dirt, what would you pick? Here's the truth. Land...
And for you, Nigel, as well, albeit it didn't go the way of your son, what were your overriding feelings and emotions when you left?
All right, here's Nigel right here, senior.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium that night.
I'm actually all right, mate. Chris Papa good.
The youth system in the USA isn't top tier anymore. When you mean the youth system, do you mean for what sport exactly? Eddie will sue Eubank if Benn loses. Oh man, yeah. If he's gonna sue him, you better do it before the fight. But yeah.
Fight, but to me, that was kind of his worst. He was winging punches in, throwing them left, right, not even thinking about what he was doing. Everything that we practiced for the 12 weeks of training, he didn't do one thing. Absolutely one thing. And he had him hurt so many times, but yet he kept on showing all the punches that he was going to throw. And I thought to myself, mate, that wasn't even a real Conor. But I'm glad that he done 12 rounds with a middleweight. And the funny thing about it, we all keep saying that. Oh,
okay, NBA youth system, gotcha. Okay, so so maybe that is the argument that black gentleman had, who was debating with Charlie Kirk about why he said that the European players are better than the black American players for what that's worth. But yeah.
We made him struggle with weight, but Chris is IBO middleweight champion. He's right at 160 all the time in the last 4 fights. I've been at 160. So why we also
not with the rehydration
struggling at the weight? But you understand?
He didn't miss the rehydration because he missed his 160 weight. Why are you up here, bro? I don't know why you're up here. No, I genuinely don't know why you're sitting up here.
What are you famous for?
I don't know why you're sitting up here. Ain't about that, bro. I don't know
what are you famous for?
Yeah, well, you know what it is. It's just like, all we got to do wait for November 15th, mate, and we see the real Conor. Not running away, not lunging the punches in, takes his time, doing the best that I know he can do. That's different to real Conor, and that's why I'm happy. They've done 12 hard rounds.
They stress more into fundamentals. Yes, in terms of, European basketball, yes, fundamentals. Whereas the American style of basketball, it's a little bit more flashy, doing the crossovers, doing the, behind the thing, like jazz and pizzazz and all of that. They don't even learn strategy until college most of the time. Yes, Glenn Diesel says, I think we still produce the best NBA players. We do, because let's be honest about this, right? We have the most athletic black Americans. The most athletic black people in the world, right? It's no comparison. The African Americans we have here are way more athletic than the Africans, let's say, in Africa, unless of course you're Francis Ngannou and Israel Adesanya and Usman. But I think we get to claim Usman because he's Marty from Nebraska. So there you go.
And yeah, he had his wobbling about 3 or 4 times, but didn't know how to finish it. Because the occasion got to him, and he went in there, what got in Conor's head? He kept on saying, I'm going to take his head off, I'm going to take his head off. If he said, like, you know what, yeah, I'm going to box him. He didn't. He went in there thinking, I'm going to take his head off. And that reminded me of the same when he fought the French guy, Benn. Just want to go in and take his head off. Winging the punches in, I thought, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so Nigel Benn is saying that Conor is in there just trying to wing punches.
I win this. I didn't come away like, that's it.
Yeah, John says USA still has the best athletes, no doubt. Yeah, facts. That is true.
Did say a word. And the funny thing about it, the next day we went in the sauna, because Conor's been giving me grief. He said, mate, if you took care of business, I won't have to do this. So then, we got in the shower, what
Resurgent says, we have the gold medals to prove it. Yes, facts. That is one thing that we can't deny about America, is that we have supremacy in athletics due to the gold medals that we have.
We got in the shower, I left the door open. And he said, mate, what are you leaving the door open for? And he's really moaning at me. I said, shut up, you loser. But we both burst out laughing because at the end of the day, we know that this is... It was a little bit too soon, that. It was like day after the fight. I know, but you did it to me, though, didn't you?
I'm speeding it up. That's why. That's why the voice sounds like that. I'm speeding it up, so...
I done the job. You won't have to do it. And you're not. Now you've got to put the record straight, mate.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, don't worry, mate. I'm going to keep reminding you that until you get that victory. Conor, what can you fix? What must you fix?
Listen, I had a beautiful camp. I had a great camp. I worked extremely hard. I've done the best I could on the night. There was a lack of discipline on the night. You can't prepare for the occasion, the emotions. It's my first fight back in 3 years. It's just an experience, gained and lesson learned, for me. But ultimately, I'll gain more discipline, more calculated.
Okay, so Gotcha420 says, the NBA is actually racially proportionate. No, of course it is. That is what it's awesome. Black people are generally, most of the time, better in basketball. Yes, they handle the rock better. Glenn Diesel says, I think Spanish islands, like our territories in Cuba, produce the best baseball players, though. Yes. When it comes to baseball, it's Japan, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Yes.
Still that ferocity and tenacity, but just, less emotion.
He told Chris to bring his winter coat this time. Can you tell us what you mean by that?
Oh, well, we thought we were going to be walking in the park. No, that's the only reason why he's taking fights. There's plenty of names in his division. At this stage of his career, if he had ambitions of winning a world title. So, if it was going to be an easy fight, and it turned out not quite so. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, definitely Japan. They're big on baseball. Remember the movie with Tom Selleck, Mr. Baseball? I believe he was a New York Yankee, and then he got traded to go play in Japan, and it was like a complete culture shock for him to play in Japan. But yeah.
What was the difference between the pair of you, Chris, in your own words? What was Conor's undoing in April?
What was his undoing? I'm a better fighter. They keep talking about weights. He hasn't fought at my weight for nearly 4 years. How many times did you hear Terence Crawford talking about the weight divisions he's coming up, fighting Canelo, who's fought at light heavyweight? And there was no rehydration clauses in that fight. So it's pretty embarrassing the amount of times that these guys consistently talk about weight. They have nothing to do with the weight. I am the better, more experienced, more dedicated fighter. That's why.
Gotcha 420 says, we need more black hockey players. ROFL. What does ROFL mean? Let me know. Woke delusional fools. Yeah, well, you know, it's not a sport that is generally encouraged in the black community, I don't think. But yeah.
He didn't beat me, and that's why he shall not beat me in November.
How do you do it, Conor? How do you beat Chris Eubank Jr.?
Let's agreed. You know, when I had him hurt in there, I mean, he's going to say I didn't have him hurt.
We have got to the point where literally...
When I thought I had him hurt, you know, I was just too greedy in there, looking for the headshots. Game plan went out the window as soon as I hit him.
So the dad of Conor, Benn, said that he was looking for headshots the whole entire time, was not really trying to aim his shots properly, and was kind of swinging wild for the fences. And so he's saying that he wants to remind him of that until, you know, the day of the fight. So Glenn Diesel says, you think it's discipline and attention to detail that makes Japan produce elite baseball talent? Yeah, I think it is. I think a sport like that, I think, is really great for somebody who is Japanese, right? Because of the society that they have means rolling on the floor. Okay, gotcha, okay. Yeah, their attention to detail, I think, has a lot to do with it, for sure it does, yeah.
In the third round, it was a matter.
Glendale says, Golden Knights fan, I still got my PK sub-in jersey. Golden Knights fan. Okay, Golden Knights. Okay, a little context on that, please.
It felt like I was always one punch away from closing the show. And I was looking for that one punch, you know, and yeah, he looked vulnerable in there. He looked vulnerable. So at some stages he looked old, and you know, I was too busy going in there trying to hurt him.
Gotcha says, Asians can play some baseball. They serious about it. Yeah. I'm surprised not more Asian countries are into it the way that the Japanese are. Glenn says Las Vegas. Oh, okay, Las Vegas professional hockey team. Gotcha. Okay, Golden Knights. Okay, I remember now.
Over getting the wins.
What makes you laugh, Chris, when you hear that?
Old and vulnerable and...
Are you in Vegas, Glenn? Or, you know, or is that just a team that you like? Golden Knights is in the U.S. Army parachute team. Okay. James Groner, shout out to you. First time I see you here. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man. But yes, Golden Knights are in the U.S. Army parachute team as well. Yes.
This old man's talking about he wobbled me 4 or 5 times.
You just gotta watch it. You just gotta watch the fight. You just gotta watch the fight.
He says, Russian newsman reads upcoming UFC fights. Yeah.
What stage did you hurt me in there?
The delusion of these guys.
Just watch it. It's not delusion if you can physically see it.
It's breathtaking. It really is. You know, yes, you caught me with a few shots. Was I out my feet?
Mate, you was in hospital for days sipping food for a straw. That's what you were doing. So stop all this silly talk.
When you was in hospital, I was in severe dehydration. You have to be treated.
Okay. How much did you weigh then? That's what you guys agreed.
Nothing to do with your performance.
That's what you guys agreed. You guys agreed the 10.
Regardless of what was agreed.
We said, well, regardless was agreed with your team are idiots then, aren't they? Because
the reason
that's what they agreed.
The hospital was...
See, my team have my best interest at heart. They obviously done yours, because if that's done that much damage, you'd bring it up now. Why not bring it?
Glenn says, black goalie of the Caribbean Canadian descent, PK Subban, pronounced Subban. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, that's good information. Okay, so he's, yes, he is, what do you call it? A Canadian, black Caribbean and Canadian descent. Okay, very interesting. The Canadian part obviously is what got him, you know, to hockey, right? Growing up in you know, in a hockey-centric, you know, area like that. He's retired now. Okay, okay. Hey Love says, guys, don't be racist. Just because their eyes are closed doesn't mean Asians. Oh man. Okay. Hey Love.
You wanted to talk about it. You wanted to. It wasn't even a topic of discussion, Chris.
I'm not here to talk about it.
Well,
That's
exactly.
you
So
guys.
let's stop moaning about it.
Please.
That's you guys.
Stop moaning about
I let
it.
you guys moan about it.
No, we're good. We're good, Chris.
I'm here to fight.
We ain't moaned about it.
Okay, so him and his brother played professionally. Okay, I'm gonna look up that guy, man. You know, and also along with the Netflix documentary that I'm watching with what do you call it? The Dallas Cowboys. I gotta check out the Eddie Hearn one too. So.
At once, all we hear is you moaning, Chris.
I haven't moaned about it.
I feel flattered that you brought a new trainer in. I feel flattered that you brought Bomac in. Because I know you need it. And he's a great coach. You're a great coach, Bomac. And I've got love for you, mate. But you can't polish a turd. Apologies.
Oh, wow. He said to Bomac, listen, you can't polish a turd.
One sentence prediction, Conor. Just finally, one sentence.
Listen, ain't a final prediction. I ain't going to go in there and try and render him unconscious as much as I'd love to. I'm going to go in there and do the best I can with what I can and be disciplined in there. For me, that's experience gained and really use that experience and the lessons learned from the first fight.
And for you, Chris, final sentence. What happened in the rematch? How do you do it?
Again, the parliamentary, the procedure. The master will be the matador. This man will be the bull. I'll be holding my fight up. He will be running around that ring trying to employ all the new techniques and, I don't want to go out there and wear my arm.
All right, we're going to show the face-off, and then we'll get on right out of here, okay? We're going to drive this one home and land this plane right here.
My sleeve and win my punches, so I'm going to box, and we're going to have this strategy. All that stuff is going to go out the window as soon as that first little right hand connects on his chin. And after that, we're going to have fun in there, baby, like I always do. The procedure will be parliamentary. You guys will see.
Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. This has been a good one. Shout out to everybody around the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next